I am somebody who endures a lot of mental shit, which everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody. I'm going on 30. I know people who are 2 years younger than me, maybe 3 years younger than me, their own place, their own husband, kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they have these successful quote unquote lives. You know what I mean? I'm looking at friends and peers who are, younger than me, a couple years younger than me, accomplishing things that I tell myself that I wanted, but I don't have right now. That can fuck with me. Like I'm going on 30 and I don't have a lot of the things that I wish that I had now.
Yeah.
I didn't take a lot of the things that I did in my life seriously. Before, when I was younger, I didn't want to accept shit. I didn't feel as accepted within my family at a lot of points in my life. And not even just specifically my close family, but just in general. I had a lot of trouble accepting who I was at the time.
What kind of acceptance were you looking for?
I just wanted somebody to look at me and be like, he's weird. That's okay. Like, accept me, damn it. I would say probably like towards the end of last year, 2023, people would kind of like come up to me and be like, oh, how are you? And I would give them this answer of like, so me and depression are like really, really, really best friends. I suffer with depression. I get anxious a lot. You getting really tired of the character you're trying to portray, and that's a very close indication as to how like I can feel sometimes. There are times where I tell them I don't want to do this thing, but I have to in order for me to do the thing that I really, really, really want to do.
Have you ever had like any suicide thoughts, or not really like doing or trying to do the thing?
I
It's
have.
just like, what if?
I have. Like,
Okay.
yes, my depression and my anxiety have led me down some rabbit holes of thinking that I should not be here anymore. For me, I just know that every day is a fight.
Is it ever going to go away?
No, it's not something that's like can be eradicated. I don't think.
Welcome again to another episode of your favorite podcast in your house, in your heart, baby.
Hey,
I love you.
hey.
Welcome again to this experience. Thank you so much for the likes, shares, subscribe, comments. If you haven't, please start doing it. Okay?
Do it now.
Please, right now, in this moment of time, right? Just click, like, share. You know, um, yeah. In this episode, I have a special guest. We can say that.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
I was gonna say surprising, but special also. So special, surprising guest.
Yeah, there
Okay.
it is. Surprise, shit.
With all of you in the podcast. So Rojo, we have Darien Rensalier.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nobody ever calls me. Well, I feel like recently I've been trying to put my last name in this stuff. So I'm forgiving of hella forgiving of people who fuck up my last name. It's okay.
Who
It's
forget or mispronounce it?
Darien. I forgive people who mispronounce it. It's okay.
Okay.
It's Darien Van Rensalier.
Rensalier.
Yeah.
So Rensalier. No.
Yes, you said Darien Rensalier.
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 Okay, how was your day today? Do you want me to call it Darien, DAAH?
It's up to you, honestly. Darien or Da. Darien's my real name. Da is a name that I have, so it's up to you.
I'll call you Darien.
It's up to you. Amen.
So, Rensalier. I'm just kidding. So, Darien,
Yes,
how
sir.
was your day today?
My day. Mm. Also, shout out to Otto and Solo Rojo for hooking the brother up with some root beer, A&W style. I'm pouring it in a cup right now. Facts. This shit hit. So today I had an audition
Oh, really?
for a Broadway show that's potentially coming out soon. You ever heard of Take the Lead
It sounds familiar, but I don't
with
really.
Antonio Banderas?
Hmm.
He played a ballroom teacher,
Okay.
and he became a teacher in like it's based on a true story.
Okay.
Paris Dulaine, Mr. Dulaine.
Okay.
He was a ballroom teacher, and he taught inner city kids in like New York how to like do ballroom or whatever. And kind of fused hip hop and ballroom together. It's a good movie. It's a really fire movie.
Okay.
But they're trying to make a Broadway show out of that.
Okay.
So I auditioned for that this morning. And then I came home, and what did I do when I got home? I ate. No, I got food, and I came home. Sarku Japan. Sarku Japan was hitting today. Um, I got food. I came home, and then I fell asleep for like 2 hours. I was tired.
Yeah, after an audition.
I was tired as hell.
It was New Jersey, New York.
In New York.
Oh, so you took
Mm-hmm.
like the trip and everything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not the only the auditions that what people don't see. It's like you just don't go and dance. It's just like you gotta get to the place
Facts.
and like it's New York. So
Facts.
trains or
I have
traffic,
to.
people.
I have to like. I think it was. Excuse me.
You're good.
The A&W is making me a little gassy.
I've had the same problem, but
Bruh.
with like almost everything that I eat, I have gastritis and acid
Oh
reflux.
yeah, my mom had that.
So
Yeah.
every time like I eat something, you're gonna see me burping. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Cause that should be in your chest.
Yeah, and
Mm.
sometimes you feel like you're gonna throw up. I don't know, like,
Mm-hmm. My
but
mom, yeah, my mom was experiencing some sort of like that acid reflux. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I totally understand that. So you don't have to apologize
Crazy.
anymore.
Nah.
And he goes, bruh.
We're. Oh, I don't gotta apologize. Say less. This entire room is about the rumble.
Okay, so the trip to New York and everything.
Yeah, no. So like I was about to say. So I think it was last night or the night before. What was I doing? I was on the computer figuring out shit I had to do for the trip to New York
Okay.
because I wasn't gonna drive that early into New York because I gotta look for parking and shit.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the bus. So I was like, okay, I gotta take the bus. Gotta make sure I leave at this time. All right, what do I need to bring with me? I gotta bring with this stuff with me. And I feel like that's like a common thing within the dance realm. Like a lot of dancers, like in order for us to whether it's going to an audition or a lot of New Yorkers I know,
Class.
like yeah, class. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're traveling by like public transportation,
Yeah.
all right, I need to figure out what the hell I need to do
Oh
before
yeah.
before the
And
day
have like
comes,
a time gap.
bruh. Just so like I gotta cross the T's and dot the I's and shit like that
But
to
you
make
know what you
sure.
can do? Like, well, I'm right now in a crew in New York.
Mm-hmm.
What I figure out, I don't know if it works for you. I usually drive.
Dímelo,
I, dímelo, papi.
dímelo, papi.
Um, I usually drive to Hoboken,
Okay.
and then but you go to Hoboken Terminal.
Oh, so I go to Secaucus.
Okay.
So instead of usually sometimes I drive, but if it's early in the day, I'll drive to Secaucus. It's like 20-25 minutes from where I
Okay.
live, and there's a free parking garage like right like across the street from
Yeah.
the bus stop.
Okay.
On a good day, takes me about 20 minutes on that
Yeah.
bus to get to the city to Port
Yeah.
Authority. On a bad day, traffic is going through Lincoln Tunnel. It's like an hour.
Yeah, but the thing is, the route that I have,
Mm-hmm.
you don't pay tolls. Ah. So
Tolls be fucking me up.
exactly. So I find
I
a
have
route.
so many tolls.
I find I find a route. I find a route that like allows me to come from here where you are right now
Uh huh.
to Hoboken, not paying any tolls, and then
It's an app or it's like
it's Waze.
oh okay, got you.
But I don't know. I just got lucky to be honest. I put the thing. I was like, no tolls. Let me try it.
Right.
No tolls. And then you find like public parking. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't.
Okay.
But it's 4 hour parking, so you can like you know $10, $7. I don't know. And then you just take the path and
Yeah.
then the subway,
Uh
and it's cheaper.
see I gotta download Waze.
Waze
Cause
is I use it a lot. It's
bruh.
it's
Cause
it tells you where cops are.
that's see
Fuck
that's
the police. No, I'm just kidding.
no cap.
I'm just kidding, guys. Relax.
Shit, I'm not. He might be.
Relax.
I'm not. He can
I'm like, I'm relaxed. I don't want to go back to my country. Okay,
Mm-mm.
relax.
No, that's valid. I'm sorry. No. We like you guys.
No, we like you. We like you. Okay.
Protect and serve.
Woo.
But no, like that's like the main reason I tell myself. So it's funny because on the last phone that I had, I downloaded Waze and I was using it for a while, and then I got a new phone and I just didn't download Waze, and then you just reminded me that I need to download Waze.
Yeah, it's very good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Like I have Google Maps
Yeah.
and Waze. Sometimes I like compare,
Yeah, same.
and it's just better.
Yeah,
Like
facts.
because it doesn't always take you to the same route. It takes you where the traffic to avoid
Right,
traffic.
right, 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 right,
So
right.
I just like it better. And honestly, I like it better. The main reason is not only that is because I get confused when I'm driving. I
Uh-huh.
don't know why I feel like Google Maps, whenever you have to do an exit,
Okay.
it feels like it's farther away.
Okay.
And ways it gives me like a more accurate, like, oh, it's right there.
I see.
Rather, Google Maps is like, oh,
Yeah.
it was right there. And
I agree with
yeah,
that.
so
I
it
feel
was,
like yeah, I definitely have taken that notice too. Like Google Maps, like there's like a delay when it comes to certain turns and exits on like Google Maps versus Waze.
yeah.
So I agree with that. I definitely agree with
Yeah,
that. I
so
agree with
that I
that.
like ways better.
Yeah.
But we will respect right here.
See, but see that, and this is crazy. See, this is what dancers need to talk about. We need to talk about how to get from A to B and compare strategies and how to get from A to B because it'd be hard out here,
Just buy
bro.
a horse, you know what I'm saying?
We're just gonna be, it's
I'm
gonna be
like, let's
Galilee.
go. Okay, I always ask this question. What is something that you feel grateful about this week?
Ooh, something that I feel grateful about for this. Something I feel grateful for about this week. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's actually a really good question. Damn. So what happened on Monday? Monday, because I can't just like I gotta think about. I gotta take some recon real quick. Some quick
Do you have
recon.
like a very bad time remembering stuff?
Oh hell yes,
Me too.
hell yes.
Like sometimes, for example, something that happened. I was talking to someone in a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
so it was in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Episode number 2, I believe, or 3.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. He told me in Spanish. He was like, "Yo, when I was talking with a psychologist,
Mm-hmm.
he told me like something about you know how the impact of for a kid is that a man cries in front of their child, like the good impact, meaning oh he's big, he's taller than me,
Okay.
and he's being vulnerable."
Okay. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Hell, that makes sense." Blah blah blah. I come to him like 2 days later,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Yo, I don't know who told me that. I don't remember." But I was talking to someone, and then I tell him that, and he's like, "Yeah, I told you that in the podcast." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, exactly. I was just wanting to know if you remembered that you told me."
Bro,
Yeah, so
I
it
do that.
happens to me a
I do
lot of
that
times.
same shit all the time, bro. I've had so many conversations. Like I don't remember who it was that I was talking to about this, but I remember I said that it was about this movie. Yeah, we went to go see the movie together. I was like,
Yeah, facts. Or whenever you have a girlfriend. Ooh, that's a
yeah.
bad
So
that.
I was just about to say that bad memory can get me the fucking trouble,
Yeah, and
bro.
you know that what they hate that they think that you don't pay attention,
It's
but in the
just,
moment you're paying attention.
see, thank you, thank you. Okay, okay, I'll be dead ass passionate about this, bro, because I feel like so. I think that a lot of guys' brains, and I won't get too deep into this, but I feel like a lot of guys' brains sometimes think of it as like a big ass warehouse, right?
Okay.
With a bunch of different boxes, a bunch of different boxes with a bunch of different shit inside the boxes. So when we're talking to somebody and not even let me not just say guys' brains, but
Mm,
just brains in general.
yeah.
Some brains, right? So ladies, your brain might be like this too, but it's different boxes and shit like that. And like I'm talking to you about I don't know GoPros, right? And I'm saying like, oh, GoPros, 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 GoPros. But the next day, it's in that box of GoPros in your brain,
Yeah.
right? So then 2 days later, somebody's like, oh, remember GoPros? I think of my brain as like there's like a little man inside my head running to each one of these like boxes. You said, okay, you want. He was talking about GoPros, and he
GoPro
runs to
to the
that.
box.
He's trying to find the box of GoPros. Like, where's the GoPro box? And then that's what I think. That's like a translation of how it goes in my brain when I forget shit. Because I'll be like, it's there, it's in there. It's not like I didn't forget it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
sometimes it could be
But
all the way in the
it's
back of your
not
brain.
specific.
Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
thing. Like I had that experience a couple of times.
Mm.
That'd be like, yo, I promise that like I really care about you and the things you tell me. It's just I don't know what's going on with my mind that I really can't remember. Like once you tell me like a hint, I'd be like, okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you tell me like if you like it's a Q&A, I'm like,
Cause it be there sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It just be all the way in
yeah,
the back. So look, we give a fuck. We care. It's you
and
gotta give us
we fuck also.
you get that too.
Great. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's a joke. Relax.
Okay. Wait.
Okay.
We're digressing from
Yeah,
the
you're good,
question.
you're good.
Okay.
So, something that you feel grateful for this week.
This week. So, um, this week I was very much intentional about making tasks for myself.
Okay.
Um, I feel like I am somebody who suffers. I am somebody who endures um, a lot of mental shit, which everybody does. You
Yeah.
know, everybody. Um, and it can cause a lot of anxiety, can cause a lot of unwanted thoughts and unwanted behavior sometimes for myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times it's because I don't have this sort of day-to-day layout of what I need to do, like, and so because sometimes like I'll think of mental lists instead of like writing them down,
Oh
and
yeah.
sometimes like that can be, excuse me.
Okay. No excusing anymore. Okay.
that can be that can be good in the sense of like, okay, you know what you need to do, but as far as actually executing them, they can get in the way that I look at it, they can get kind of tangled into your everyday thoughts. So
Okay.
the things that you need to do, like say I need to do laundry, I need to wash my clothes, I need to clean my room, I need to change my oil. Instead of writing those down and actually seeing them, a lot of times I would just keep them in my brain. But then I would think about like,
Oh
shit.
yeah.
It's so I feel like recently the one thing I've been grateful for this week is that I've been writing out the things that I need to do like every
Okay.
day and looking at them and being like, okay, I can do this. Like, and I'll be realistic with the things that I can do. Like, 'cause sometimes I think a lot of people, even myself, like I make a long ass list because I need to do all these things, but I realize I can't do all this shit in like a day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
It's on your listing,
yeah. So I need to do it, but I don't have to. Like,
and then you feel bad about yourself because you didn't do it.
exactly. It's a never ending cycle of just thoughts. I'm reading a book. I'll go into that recently. I'm gonna pull up my book soon. But
He goes, "I'm gonna pull it."
but yeah, I've been grateful for the fact that I've been able to like grateful for Google tasks, just Google
Okay.
in general, because that's where I've been putting them.
Yeah.
So like whenever I'm checking like my emails or whenever I'm looking at my schedule, on the side they have like these little like icons, and one of them is like a blue check mark for Google. Click on
Okay.
that, I write in my own task, and I'm just looking at my task. I put it on my phone, and I'm looking at, I screenshot it, and I'm like, okay,
I gotta
cool.
do it.
I got to
Yeah,
do it. You know what I'm
it's like a
saying?
map for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So that's the one thing I've been grateful for, because it's been effective this week. I feel like
Okay.
I've been seeing a difference in how I'm actually kind of like,
Approaching.
yeah, like approaching the things that I have to do like in
Yeah.
my everyday life, like, and
Yeah.
and now I'm not just looking at it as like, I gotta do this shit. Damn. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
and then
saying? Like,
sometimes you forget,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you don't end up doing
Exactly.
actually nothing. I had the same, we can say, idea. I haven't done it. It's
Mhm.
something I would like to talk about, the mental health issue
Mm,
later on in the conversation. I
okay.
always like to touch mental health with all the guests because I feel it's very important.
I agree.
Um, but I've been like to therapy, and I was telling my therapist like, yo, like I know that I gotta be like set goals for myself,
Hmm.
but I can't write. I really cannot put myself and be like, okay, I gotta do this.
Mm,
I'm like, I always find something like to be
yeah.
like, oh, I forgot, oh, I gotta do something else, and then I'm gonna do it next later. Or so
Yeah.
I can totally like, you know feel that to you.
Bruh.
We've been like already in a conversation a little bit as an intro.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. But no, I'm just kidding. You're like, no, I was so
Fuck this.
we've been just like talking, right? But for someone that doesn't know you,
Hmm.
right? Um, who are you, and like what do you do for a living?
Can I have a Dorito?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If you don't know me, I like Doritos.
I'm like, imagine just put the brand in the other way because we don't get sponsored yet.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it down here.
No, I'm just kidding.
These aren't Doritos. These are
Homemade.
Floritos.
Sol Rojo Dorito.
You don't know nothing about that shit.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. So, okay, that's another thing. I'm also goofy as shit.
Yeah.
Very goofy.
That's good. I like it.
Okay. So, some things about me. Full name, Darien Adam Van Rensalier. Most people call me DAAH. But the reason why, and no, I don't think I think I expressed this one time on like a podcast like a while ago, but it was like a underground podcast that was just kind of like a testing thing. So I don't think not a lot of people know this, but the reason why people call me Da, shout out to Kelly LaCuen, Raylene, and my sister in Dance World Academy. My sister danced since she was 4 years old.
Okay.
So she's been dancing for a long time.
Okay.
And I've always been the supportive big brother at her competitions and shit like that. So she's 26 going on 27 now.
Okay.
But we were at a competition one day and it was at a hotel and she was downstairs with her dance friends hanging out, and she introduced me to her dance friends, my sister, as DA, because my parents' family call me DA for Darien Adam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they call me Darien Adam. My mom calls me Darien Adam. Like, people in my family call me Darien Adam, but a lot of my family members call me DA for short. So my sister introduces me. This is my brother DA. And I don't remember exactly how it got into this, but I remember Kelly LaCuen. She used to be on Project D, and she was dancing with my sister at DWA. It's like, DA, Da. We're gonna call you Da, just because it spells Da,
Yeah.
DA. So that was, I don't even remember how long ago that was, but ever since then, Kelly, Raylene, the people on Dance World Academy, they were calling me Da. Like, a couple years later, I joined Project D.
Okay.
In 2012.
Okay.
And Kelly, who gave me the nickname, is on Project D. She's like, oh, it's Da. And ever since then, everybody just started calling me Da. So, and that was what, 2012?
Damn.
Even before that, like, I got the name Da. Yeah.
12 years, well, to 2024.
So that's a fun fact about me.
Okay.
Let's see.
We got the exclusive.
Yeah. Born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey. I'm 29. I've been dancing in the community since 2012. Started with Project D, technically ended with Project D. Project D was the only dance team I was like actually a part of, with the exception of like other collectives that like I joined. Yeah, I was member starting 2012 and became director around 2000. I want to say 14, 15.
Okay.
I think I became director 2014, 15. I don't remember. If anybody from Project D, fact check me on that.
Comment below.
And then I ended up leaving around like few years like later. Yeah, and then from then on, I just kind of pursued this like freelance solo dance career. I dropped out of college in 2015 to pursue dance. And I was dancing, doing a couple of like jobs here and there. Went back to school 2018.
Okay.
Still in school.
Nice.
Uh, and I am currently the director of Defined Movement, which is the junior team of Project D.
Okay.
Shout out to Regina Lustre. She's my co-director. And what else? What else is there about me? I'm goofy. I'm 6 foot. The last time I checked, I was 6 foot.
That's what I would check.
I play the piano.
Okay.
Um, m- my favorite. So I was thinking about this recently. What's your favorite food?
Oh, it's something. It's a typical play from my country.
Ooh, what's it called?
It's called baleadas.
Baleadas?
Yeah,
How do you spell that?
it's a Valeadas.
Baleadas. Okay.
Baleadas. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's so you can have an idea. It's like a burrito,
Ooh.
but it's a different type of tortilla.
Okay.
You put beans, eggs, cream, cheese on it.
Mm-hmm.
You can put avocado. You can put meat or chicken. Like I don't know how you say chicharrón in English. You know chicharrón?
I know chicharrón.
Okay,
Yeah.
So it's I like it a lot.
You don't mind me asking, are you Dominican?
No, I'm Honduran.
Honduran.
Yeah, I'm
Lo
Honduran.
siento, lo siento.
Oh, you're good.
No.
Yeah, we're not. Honduran is not that like the most famous country or culture out
Okay.
there, so we're not that international as I would like to.
Mm.
Here at least here in the U.S.
But you changing that shit, bro.
See.
He was like, about to put Honduras on the map, son.
Yeah, that's yeah. So okay, I'd like to start with the work stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So you said you're a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've been pursuing your freelance dance career since 2012, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I've seen our investigation team.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm just kidding. No, our production team, which is me. I see you work in as a personal aide in Patterson Public School.
Mm-hmm.
You worked there
Damn,
for 6
what the
years.
hell? That's no more than 6 years.
6 years and 5 months.
Okay. No.
So that was 2017.
Wait, damn. Where you get this information from? That's crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, have you seen you?
Yeah, motherfucker.
I'm like, how you get this information?
Ew. And now you're just having like a small narration in your head right now saying all this evil shit. Oh, you fucker.
No. Okay, so what was the job about? Like, what do you used to do?
So I am currently a personal aide, yes, at Norman S. Ware Elementary School in Patterson, New Jersey. I first started 2015, right? Yes. Oh, yes. So I've been working as a personal aide for about 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 8 years.
Okay.
8 years. I've been working I started as a lunch monitor at the school.
Okay.
And basically what we did was we sat in the lunch. I got to come to work at like 10 instead of 8 a.m. like everybody else did. Oh, no, I'm lying. I got to show up a little bit later, not 8 a.m., but just a little bit later than like all the teachers there. And we should just give out the lunches, just set the lunches up for the kindergartners, whatever. I did that for a year. Principal was like, hey, there's a position open for personal aid, more money. Is you come in earlier? I was like, yes, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
And basically what I do is they assign me a student. Like I first started off in the special needs department. I still actually do work in the special needs department at the school, but I also am an aide for a general ed student. Basically, I'm helping the student focus in class. I'm making sure he's getting from A to B. That's my responsibility as a personal aide. That student I've got to make sure he's focusing in class, doing whatever he has to do as a student.
Okay.
And then even a lot of times, the student that I have now, his name is Lewis.
Nice.
He's in 7th grade, and he enjoys hitting me a lot, which I love. But no, it's all love. It's not like yeah. He there's this thing, and I let him do it because I know he enjoys it.
Okay.
He looks at me, and because he sits in a wheelchair, he looks up at me, and then you see his arm cocked back, and then he just starts.
And you're like,
and I'm just I'm just looking at him. He's just beating on me. I'm just like, you having fun? And he's like, yeah.
How old is him?
He's in 7th grade. I think he's 11 or 12. Yeah. but he's in a wheelchair, so I have to make sure he's going from class to classroom.
Okay.
Um,
So that you do that every day still?
5 days a week, Monday through
Okay.
Friday. But I'm also this is the thing. Um, I'm working. I'm work. I work seven. I work like a Jamaican. I work 7 days a week, bro. Um, so I'm working five from Monday through Friday at the school, and then when I'm not working there, I'm working at Valvoline, so oil changing place,
Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays,
Okay.
um, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, so as far as work, I work with kids. I change oil. Um, go to school, and
Wow.
then when I have time,
You dance.
I'm dancing.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
What type of skills do you think someone should have to work with people with special needs?
patience, so much patience. Because the one thing that I learned about it's actually a really good question, by the way. The one thing I learned about working with kids is that one, they are basically a lot of them are a reflection of like us
Okay.
in some sort of way.
Yeah, they're
So like we look at them and we see a lot of the shit that we did when we were younger and the things that we wish that we were corrected on and we like so I'm looking at Coco who's in 7th grade and Coco is like talking back to the teacher and Coco is giving an attitude to everybody and Coco is like getting in trouble and our first instinct is to kind of like discipline them in the way that we were disciplined.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when in reality we have to remember that these are you know and I think sometimes that discipline or that approach can sometimes be very like
Harmful.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, because even us as we're getting older we're trying to outgrow a lot of the ways that we were taught growing
Yeah.
up that from our parents, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like um because the world is ever changing, we always have to evolve
Now
with it,
even more.
exactly.
So fast.
So same thing with me, like and people who work in education, it takes a lot of patience to see that Coco isn't just doing this because
She wants
she's
to.
she can't necessarily control that, you know, and not even not necessarily control that, but there's a different way that you can go about it instead of the way that was harmful to you at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of patience to understand kids at such a deep level, because again we can that's one reason, but aside from that. They can be a lot, that they can yell and scream, they can talk back to you, they can give you attitude, they can say all these hurtful things to each other. Oh my gosh, the things they say to each other, bro. It's like, yo, like y'all don't like I know that there was a point in my like grammar school life where I was like, I don't like this person, but they don't fuck
They
with
don't
each
have a
other.
filter.
They like no filter at all. But it's crazy too, because they will like sit there and be like, yo, like roast this student or roast that student, and then go back to like
And
hugging
they
each
know
other.
no one's gonna do anything to them.
Bro,
So
like it's crazy, bro. Nah, but definitely patience. Working with anybody special needs or anybody in the education field with kids, patience,
does
patience.
that type of job keeps you grounded every day? Meaning, gives you more being more grateful for whatever you have.
Yes. Um, I look at, like there are kids who in Patterson even, that and I'm sure everywhere like in other places too, but I know that there are schools in Patterson with students who don't necessarily have parents who really give a fuck about them like
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not to discredit them as a parent because obviously when you sign and I don't have any kids. At
he's
least
like
not right,
touching wood.
not right now. Um,
That's plastic, by the way.
damn it! Fuck you, Otto.
Yes.
um, so I can't necessarily like judge parents too much, but I'm from the outside looking
Yeah,
in. You know what I mean? Like
especially working with kids
exactly.
and seeing
Like
like the behavior of other parents towards their kids.
there are kids who you can tell that they're parents like their parents kind of abandon a specific part of their kid that I feel like they should embrace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I don't want to. Again, I don't want to say that parents are doing bad jobs at being parents. I don't want. I never want to say that about a parent.
Okay. Because it's
Um,
hard. It's
it
difficult.
it is
There's
difficult to be
no
a
guide
parent.
to be like perfect
Exactly,
dad or perfect mom.
exactly. So I never want to tell a parent that you're doing a bad job.
But there's a
Um,
lot of things that they can improve on.
so in looking at these kids, I think it can definitely ground me and definitely kind of like humble me in ways because I'm like, damn, like, you know, admittedly, I had a very blessed life, a privileged life, honestly. Like, um, so seeing that, I'm just like, damn, I definitely 100% now know that I can't just like, if these kids are giving me attitude, I definitely can't just go off on them for no
No, of
reason.
course.
I can't like look at them in a specific way. I can't even think about how I want to discipline them or think, and I can't. It helps me understand that you know I I wasn't them. Like I was a kid at some point, but I feel like
The cycle and ends.
I just know that I lived a very privileged life compared to
Okay.
a lot of other kids.
Yeah.
And I never want to judge any kid or make any kid feel like what they're going through is like shitty or like they like like or bad or whatever the case is. Like I like so it definitely humbles me. It definitely grounds me working with kids for sure.
And talking about patience, does like working with these kids gives you more patience with the regular people, or actually gets you more angry whenever you see someone complaining about something and you get like frustrated because like, bro, you don't know, like shut the fuck up.
I think I feel, I feel like my road rage has increased. That's a very random thought, but I say that to say like um I look at adults now and I'm just like y'all are just big ass kids. Like
Right.
like adults are just big ass kids, yo. Like and sometimes like
Pretending to be adults.
bruh, I, one of the teachers at my school, uh, the the eighth grade class at my school is pretty crazy, and uh, and one of the teachers at my school calls them grown adults, adult 6 year olds,
Okay.
because they're like they're older but they still act like 6 year olds. Um, but nah, I look at adults and I kind of like I don't know. I guess I sort of have like a similar mentality when I look at adults, just because they're adults. Like I don't know. I think a part of me sometimes can definitely differentiate a kid from an adult. Like I can be like, okay, I can be this way with a kid because they're a kid. But
Yeah.
if you're at a certain point in your age where your brain is a little bit more developed and you're a little bit more developed and you still don't like you don't
Yeah.
what stop the fuck.
Exactly.
But I do that to myself too because I'm still a child.
The thing is to be aware, or there's
Yeah.
different situations where you need to be the big person,
Hmm.
and they just don't. So it's just a little bit more complicated in that
Yeah,
sense.
for sure. And so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What shit? Not the cricket noises. What what what
Brum,
what?
brum, brum, brum.
Como?
¿Cómo te dice?
Uh, okay, so what is a word for you that has been kind of like a like reoccurring for you? Like a like for let me give you an example. Like for me, you mentioned awareness,
Yeah.
like being aware. Like that's a word that's been coming up in a lot of conversations for me,
Yeah.
and it's a word that I've been kind of like utilizing for myself.
Okay.
Um, so like, what's a word and or like what are words that you've been coming across recently that have been like either helping you or like that you've been kind of like,
Yeah.
like you've been connected to?
I feel like relaxation,
Mm,
um, pressure,
mm,
Because the thing is, for me, I'm too. The way I feel, I'm too aware. I'm like too aware, like too much.
I hear you.
Meaning, like I'm very aware of what I do, why I do it,
Mm-hmm.
the way I carry myself, why I carry myself like that, the way I'm talking to someone, why I'm talking like that. I'm very like so the for me taking the decision of like moving from a country to another country to pursue the dream to be a dancer,
Mm-hmm.
I take I'm a person that likes to take responsibility of my actions,
Mm. Okay.
right? So I had some opportunities in my country with my parents,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I decided that it was not for me.
Okay.
So I took the decision of like moving out of the country and something like that. So everything I do, I really take it very serious
Right.
because I'm aware that the decision I took of the type of career that I took is nothing to play with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So every decision I take can fuck me up because it's
Yeah.
not like I have a job that it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what I do, I'm gonna get it paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel you.
So I'm very aware of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I don't really appreciate what I do, like the things that I accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always thinking of
What's next?
I'm not there, I'm not there
Mm-hmm.
yet, and it's not working,
Mm-hmm.
and like time is coming because I have a like a personal problem with aging
Mm.
because I'm not where am I in my mindset where am I supposed to be
Right.
in my career.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Higher.
So I'm like, oh, like every day, like it's some people feel like they got one more day. I
Yeah.
feel like I have
None.
one day. How you call it? Like one less day or
One negative day.
yeah,
Negative.
like that means like a subtraction. Like it's less.
Yeah.
You see it
Yeah.
like a positive. I see a negative.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because our career is not like I'm gonna be 50 and I'm a doctor and I can still make the same money. No, bro. If I take care of myself, I'm gonna be 35 and still as a dancer. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
choreographer. I'm not
Right.
talking as a
Right.
dancer.
Right.
So I'm like, time is running, and yeah, you can say like, oh, you've done this and this and that, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
So right now I'm on the point of I'm almost turning 25, and for
Oh,
me,
bro.
what? When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
Damn.
You're
That's
good.
crazy.
April 16th.
Got me on camera choking on a fucking chip. Asked you when your birthday was.
April 16th.
Heard you.
April 16th.
That's not Taurus, right?
Aries, I think.
Aries. Okay.
Yeah. So, the thing is, for me, it's just I have the faith that this year is gonna be a very good year for me.
Good. That's fire.
I have a feeling. I
Mm-hmm.
really have a feeling. Like, I really like. Whenever you have like a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
or I don't know what other like
No, a feeling.
a hint or something like
No,
that.
I do this. I would use the same verbiage for me. Like it's
Yeah,
a feeling. It's definitely a
it's
feeling.
bro. It's like I don't know why. It's this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like something is about to happen.
Mm.
So, um, for me, it's like
That's fire. I like talk like
so relaxation. I'm like yeah. Like I'm always stressing about myself.
that. Mm.
I'm like because the thing is also like there's some things that I was supposed to be doing and I haven't done and stuff like that. So I'm like, it's your fault. Blah 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 blah. So now like relaxation and not to put that much pressure
Mm-hmm.
because it been getting to artistically talking to a point where I don't like to be in and I've been stuck there for a while.
Mm.
Um and yeah, it's just a word, two words that I can say. For myself, I've been like around a lot.
I like that. No, I definitely like relaxation. Is that's a hallelujah. That's a message.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like I am I'm like an energetic person. It's weird, bro. Like I feel like I have all of this energy somewhere. Like you ever, at least for me, I can feel sore. Like I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I'm sore as fuck. I've been working out this week. I've been dancing this week.
It's been a heavy week.
I'm my body tired. Um, but for some reason, there's like this bolt of lightning inside of me that's just going. Doom, 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 doom. I have energy for everything. Um, so relaxation. That's a word. I feel like I need to.
Yeah, but mm, yeah, like mentally talking,
Yeah.
because sometimes like I be like too lazy physically,
Oh, facts.
and I'm like, okay, not this type of relaxation.
Mm,
Okay, so about like yeah, we know you're a dancer,
mm-hmm.
right? I know you go to church. You also sing.
Yes.
But other than that, what other hobbies do you have, or what do you like to do? Like, there's something that you say like, oh, like it's something that I really enjoy doing by myself or with people.
I really, really love watching movies.
Okay.
I love movies. Um, and I kind of blame my dad a little bit. And the fact that I worked at a movie theater for 4 years.
Oh,
Yeah. But even before the movie theater, I like my dad in our hallway in like our house. There were just one. There were like two to three big like catalogs of either VHS movies, like the
okay.
tapes, or DVDs. Like a bunch of them. Like even to this day, he has like in the hallway of our house, he has two shelves. One of them holds a bunch of like VHS movies, and another one holds a bunch of DVD movies. And then he even has one downstairs, a taller one that opens up and it exposes like probably I would say close to 100 DVDs, maybe more, 100 DVDs. So my dad just loved collecting movies. So growing up, I graduated high school 2012, and I started working at a movie theater in downtown Patterson. And I was working there for 4 years, and we would get movies for free.
Nice.
So we would just like literally, I would pull up to the movie theater with my slippers on and like pajamas, just watching any movie I wanted to.
Wow.
Um, so and that got me really into like really enjoying movies. So from here and there, like even like my some of my homies, like I'll hit them up like, yo, what you doing? Let's go watch a movie. Like just because I love watching
Yeah,
movies.
you
I
like
love
it.
them. I like them. The not even just watching the movie, but the movie theater experience. Like
Okay. Oh,
some,
you like all the experience,
I
like
love
everything
it.
that involves the
I
movie.
love it. I love it. Like I love the film aspect of it because it's like even as a creator, like as an artist, I enjoy watching different shit. Like I enjoy being put into a world that's not ours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like and seeing what you can stretch out with that. You know what I mean?
But do you actually enjoy like the movie, or are you like the type of person of, oh,
Like
this
to
was,
nitpick it.
yeah, like, oh, this was shot with a 52.
Oh no, I don't know shit about that.
Oh,
But
okay, so you actually enjoy the movie.
yeah, so I I try not to nitpick.
Yeah.
This is how I like kind of grade my movies for lack of a
Okay.
better way of putting it. If I'm talking in the movie theater or if I'm reacting to it in a way, I love it. Like if you got me, there are two telltales. If you ever go to a movie theater with me and I'm sitting like this watching the movie, then
Yeah.
I love it. You
Okay.
know that is good. But that's like my physical telltale of like if I love a movie or if I'm like oh shit, oh damn, for real, oh like if I'm reacting to it like
Yeah.
verbally, then I also love it. Um, but if I'm like usually if I'm quiet, like I'm probably just like it's okay. But
Okay.
I'm usually enjoying movies. I'm always no matter how I'm looking, I'm always enjoying movies. I just love movies.
Are you aware that right now is cool, like, cause you're young and you'll be like, what? Really? And people are gonna okay. Whenever you're 65, what? Really? People are gonna be like, yo, sir.
And I would take my 65-year-old middle finger and be like this.
Because it's different when someone like from out your like 20s, 30s, they do stuff, and whenever someone older is like, and they can do exactly the same thing. It's just different.
Facts. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be like, I I not that I can't wait for it, but sometimes I'll be thinking about like how I'm gonna be when I get older.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna be like the uncle. Even my kids now define me when they call me Uncle Da. So I'm gonna be that man in the movie. They're like, "Yo, shut the fuck up, watch the fucking movie."
Okay, nice. Do you have like a specific genre of movies that you like?
Mm, mm. I never thought about this. No, I don't think so. I think I just wait. This is a hard question. Maybe it is no. Maybe the answer. Maybe I don't have a favorite genre. I will say though, I'm a bitch when it comes to scary movies.
Okay.
I will openly admit this to camera A, camera B, and if that camera can see me, camera C. I'm a bitch when it comes to scary movies. I'm slowly getting over the fear of scary
Okay.
movies, but I'm a bitch when it comes to scary movies. I hate it. Hate scary movies because they used to give me nightmares growing up.
Okay.
So ever since then, I'm like, I can't.
But did you have any like paranormal experience in the real life before that like it might affect the way you approach a scary movie?
Well, kind of, sort of. The nightmares, I mean, obviously, they would seem very fucking real.
Okay, yeah, nightmares.
There was a couple of like odd occurrences in my nightmares that felt really interesting. That when I grew up and looked at it, I was like, huh.
Not normal.
Yeah, exactly, not normal. But it was just the nightmares. The nightmares scared the fuck out of me.
Okay.
Like
But it was the nightmares were a consequence of watching the movie,
yes,
not vice versa.
literally every single scary movie that I would watch, I would have a nightmare
Damn,
afterwards.
that's crazy.
Even if I watched like a small part of it and I would close my eyes afterwards, I would have a nightmare about that part later on. Oh my gosh.
Okay, moving a little bit in the conversation.
Let's get it.
What would be like an ideal or perfect date for you?
A date?
No, date.
Oh, day. I was about to say, ooh.
Well, I can ask you that later.
I can't get away on my serious now.
That's for the other podcast.
Besides, I ain't trying.
No, what should be a perfect or ideal day for you?
I would wake up. Thank God. I would put a Stevie Wonder vinyl on, like the record player. I would put a Stevie Wonder vinyl on. I would make my bed. I would clean my room. And then I would go. There's a mountain like around the corner from my house. It's like a mountain reserve, and it has like a bunch of different areas, like park areas that people go to, and people picnic, and people run and walk there and work out there. I am people,
Yeah.
and I would go to Gary Mountain, and I would work out. I would probably do a couple laps around the mountain reservation. Um, I would get my favorite smoothie from Live Right Juice Bar. Shout out to Live Right Juice Bar in, I think it's Eldon, New Jersey. I would get my favorite smoothie. It's called the My Fave.
My faith?
My Fave.
Fave, okay.
Like favorite. My Fave.
Okay, my fave.
Peanut butter, bananas, chocolate almond milk, and they mix it up together. But I add strawberries and sea moss into it.
Okay.
Shit, it's beautiful. Oh, it's so fucking good. I would get that, and then I would come home, probably get like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich from this place in Total near me. Oh, fuck yeah, I'll get two of them bitches. Get two of them bitches and a smoothie. Come home, eat. I guess depending on what day it is, because Wednesdays are like my favorite days.
Wednesday?
So let's say it's on a Wednesday, right?
Okay,
let's say it's on a Wednesday, and I'll probably do some work on my laptop, like get some creative juices flowing, whatever the case is. Um, and then I'll go teach class because I like teaching is probably one of my top three favorite things to do of all time. Um, Shout out to Modega, CJ, Gordon Chen in Queens. Um, I will go to Modega, teach my class there. I will probably go home or go get some food. And then, depending on how I'm feeling, I might go see a movie. If I don't feel like going to see a movie, I'll just come home and I'll play either Spider Man 2 or Madden. Spider Man 2 is a phenomenal video game, by the way. It's a really, really great fucking game. Shout out to shout out to Spider Man and Insomniac.
You know, Spider Man is my favorite superhero. So.
Same.
Yeah,
It's
I
my
love him.
It's my favorite Marvel superhero.
I mean, for me, it's my favorite hero.
Oh,
like,
in general, fire. No, he's fire.
I think it's because like the time when the movie came, like the age I had, it was like
yeah,
right on point. So I was like, yeah.
Nah, for real though. No, Spider Man, that boy.
Okay, that would be a perfect day.
That would probably be like my perfect day.
How's the weather though?
Oh, what we in like light jacket weather.
Okay.
Like not I love heat. Like I love summertime and I love the springtime when the sun is out and shit like that. But
you can say like fall.
I would say like a good, nice, sunny fall day.
Okay.
You feel me? Like
yeah,
like a nice jacket on. The sun is beaming and shit like that. Like you get a good like golden hour selfie if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sun is beaming. The weather's not too crazy. Like I got something on. Like perfect weather. Either that or like 70s, like mid to high 70s. Like
okay, that's a good weather though.
Like that spring breezy weather, like that Florida weather. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love that. That's another one for me.
Okay, nice. Now switching a little bit, what like what would be a bad day for you?
Bad day, shit. A bad day for me is a day full of small inconveniences.
Okay.
So like, I hate, bro, when you're walking out of a door and your jacket gets stuck on the fucking hook or like something like your clothing gets stuck. I hate that shit. Oh, I hate that shit. I don't know what it is. Like I literally every time it happens, I stop and I look. I literally stop for like 5 seconds and I look at it. Like why? Like was I really like you did the most just hooking onto my shit. Like I really walked this close. Like I'd be mad at that shit. Like I didn't just walk into it. But a bad day for me would just be a day full of like minor inconveniences. So getting my shit hooked up on the door lock, getting stuck in traffic,
losing the keys of your car.
Also shout out to, speaking of losing the keys to my car, shout out to Hafa at Modega. Every Wednesday, almost every time I go to, and goes back to the memory shit that we was talking about before. Almost every Wednesday, I'm always forgetting something. I will have my coat and I would drive and I'll be at home. Dang. And I'll be in the car. No. Hafa, did I leave my ID? Yes, you left your wallet and your IDs. Fuck. So there's been multiple times where I've driven all the way to Patterson, forgot something, called Hafa. All right, I'll be right there, and I've driven right back to Queens. Like vital things. Like it's something that I can't just like leave over there.
Yeah, like license.
Exactly. So like,
so yeah. You know, something that like helps me a lot.
What?
It's I got a fanny pack.
Ooh, so I have a small like I call it a fanny bag. Okay. It doesn't go around the waist, but it goes like around the shoulder. It's like a small little pouch. That should be helping. The
thing, sometimes I look like an uncle, but I rather I rather look at that like an uncle than losing my shit, bro.
No me importa.
Bro, I honestly it's so many issues because I know if I got the back, I got everything on
exactly.
Me. So if it helps.
Nah, I keep that bag. I use that bag whenever I'm going through the city. Like I'm roaming somewhere,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, or if I'm like walking, like walking in New York, and I don't feel like carrying my book bag, I'll just
Yeah.
keep it all in that bag.
No, I carry my book bag and the
Oh
and
damn! So
yeah.
you be ready for war?
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, cause like I know if I lose my bag,
Oh yeah, right, right,
I
right, right,
got
right,
my
right, right. At least you got your fanny pack and shit, like your vitals and shit in there.
yeah, you know, like so
That's valid. That's valid.
I got my.
That's valid.
Don't please don't. I'm scared. I don't. Right?
I was about to say you don't let anybody know that. Okay, so next time I'm trying to
I'm gonna
rob
put
Otto,
like a squirrel sound.
a squirrel sound
Yeah.
in your bag.
No, meaning like on the podcast. I carry my.
Facts, facts, facts.
Okay.
Facts.
How would you like getting into the dance world, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe the life of a dancer?
The life of a dancer.
Yeah, in
Ooh.
general, not the maybe not the daily basis,
Right.
but in general, how's the life of a dancer?
Um, it's tough. I think so. I think it's tough, and the reason why I think it's tough is because it's a different type of toughness. So when you're a football player, you got to be tough physically.
Yeah.
When you're an athlete in general, you got to be, even as a dancer, you
Yeah.
got to be tough, right? But um, as a dancer, I think we are expected to look a certain way. We're expected to be a certain way. We're expected to kind of move a certain way,
And
and
even act a certain
exactly.
way.
So that can play a big role into how somebody thinks about themselves.
Yeah.
So you have to be tough. You have to be tough in the sense. I feel like a life as a dancer, you have to make sure that, like, at the end of the day, you know who you are and the type of dancer that you want to be. And sorry, that kind of got deep. I feel like
Yeah,
I
it's
took a
good.
different path of the question that you asked,
No, but it's good.
um,
I keep going.
I just feel like as a dancer, life as a dancer is a tough life, But not to say that, and that's also not to say that being the life of a dancer is also fun as fuck. It's fun as fuck because, like, there are a lot of dancers I know that create their own schedules. Like they have their own freedom to do what they want to do every day. And maybe not like as far as like, and this is compared to somebody who's working 8 to 5 or 8 to 3 p.m. 7 days a week. You know what I
25
mean?
8.
25/8 exactly. Um, but I just know, even aside from that specific scheduling, like the life of a dancer is a tough one. Because like even somebody who is working like a job outside of dance, right? Um, you have to schedule dance around the shit that you got to do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so like if somebody who's working 7 days a week, I teach on Wednesdays at Bodega. You know what I mean? But and then I I have rehearsal with Defined Movement on Mondays. I have session at Bodega on Thursdays. I uh, and then knowing that those are my dance things that I have to do weekly. There's those other days that need to be filled.
Yeah.
Not need to be, but there are those
It would
other
be
days.
ideal.
Right, there are those other days where somebody might need a rehearsal, or somebody might need like
A private.
a private, or I'm shooting this, or like another class setup. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, I just think that as a dancer, the life of a dancer, like, it's a tough one. It's a very fun one. It's a very enjoyable one. It's a freeing one. It's a liberating one, but it's also a tough one.
Okay. In this case, how you started dancing?
How did I start dancing?
Yeah.
Um, I was uh Pusswood. You ever heard of Pusswood?
No.
Ian Eastwood. You ever heard of Ian Eastwood? Oh,
I'm not
Otto!
from here. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
I'm,
No,
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm also sorry. But Brian Puspos.
Oh, I know Brian Puspos.
Okay, so Brian Puspos and his like best friend Ian Eastwood.
Okay. Oh,
They
okay, now it makes sense.
Yes,
Ian. Okay.
Ian
Is
Eastwood.
the guy with
Yes,
the
and
okay,
he always
okay.
wears the hats with his curly
Yeah,
hair.
okay,
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
him. Okay.
yeah. So I grew up watching Brian Puspos, Ian Eastwood had his own chapter, like his own company called Young Lions. Um, I grew up watching them. Andrew Batterina. Andrew, shout out to Andrew Batterina. Oh my gosh, Andrew Batter. Even to this day, Andrew Batterina is still fucking fire. Probably glide goat. Like if you know like gliding,
Yeah, gliding. I know.
glide goat. I don't care what nobody says. He's oh my gosh, his ankles he has none. Um, but I used to grow up watching them and like learning their dances online and seeing them whatever and watching them a lot. Um, and again, my sister danced before me, so she was always dancing, but it was always competition. It was always tap.
It's different.
Yeah, class like more traditional,
Less
I guess.
cultural, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So, um, versus me, I grew up watching street jazz and hip hop.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, I started dancing just by watching videos, and then um, so I learned about Project D through Paco Valencia. You know who that is? Paco's sister also danced with my sister at the same dance school.
Okay.
So Paco, one day we were looking at a video and he was like, "Oh, this is my dance team," and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." A couple years later, um, I'm in high school, and there's a girl that I meet in high school named Adeline. Shout out to Adeline Maldonado, Addie, Eager. Um, her sister or her brother is Edson Maldonado.
Okay, I know Edson Maldonado.
So, but I went to high school with Edson's sister.
Okay.
So again, I met knew Paco because of his sister. I knew Edson. That's actually very interesting. I never really thought about that. I knew Paco because of his sister. I know Edson because of his sister.
Okay.
And so I then figured out that Edson was a part of the same team that Paco was a part of.
Okay.
So I was like, and Edson kind of like they both kind of like helped me kind of put me onto Project D. So that's when I showed up summer 2012 of Project D's auditions, not knowing shit about dance besides what I saw online.
Okay.
So I walked into this studio in Bergenfield, New Jersey, and I'm wearing my fucking Black Vans, Chachi Mama pants, and Chachi Mama pants. They had like these, they were like drop crotch pants.
Okay.
So like they like you know who MC Hammer is?
Yeah.
So you know the pants that he wore is when he's
Yeah.
doing that shit. Those big ass pants.
Yeah.
I used to wear those. We used to wear those shits growing up in the dance community. What? Ask anybody around, like even Rob. Like
Yeah.
ask anybody about Chachi Mamas. Oh
Chachi
my
Mama.
gosh, they were the best pants ever. But
They're comfortable.
very comfortable. Put up with my Vans, Chachi Mamas, a tank top with a hat on. I felt like the best dancer in the world. I was ass, bro. But yeah, that's how I started essentially. Like I got introduced by Paco and Edson. I don't I owe a lot of like my dancing and how I started dancing to those two. Like just because like they kind of brought me into like the community. They kind of welcomed me into the community. Um yeah, and then from then on it's just been history.
Then, what is the moment that you actually like realize that you would like to make a living out of dancing?
Ooh. Ooh. I don't even know. That's a good question. Oh shit. Um trying to remember the first, and maybe I should keep account of these things. But I'm trying to remember the first time I got paid for dancing. I think when it came to pursuing dance like a little bit more professionally, I think it was the job, my very first job actually. Yeah, this was my very first, I guess, commercial job.
Okay.
Edson put me onto it. Um, and it was for Russ. His name is such a fucking tongue twister. Russell Westbrook,
Russell
basketball
Westbrook.
player. Russellwestbrook.
Okay.
And he plays for the Clippers now, but he used to play for the Thunder. But he came out with a sneaker line back then. And Edson hit me up to be in the commercial for it, or like what, like an advertising for it.
Okay.
And all we literally did, there was a choreographer. I think Camille Brown was on set for as choreographer, and she's a famous choreographer. I think Camille Brown, if not choreographed and assist, no, that's Fatima. Never mind. Camille
That's
Brown,
a very good choreographer.
Camille Brown is a very dope choreographer. Anyways, all we had to do was hit them folks. That was it. It was just nothing but just doing this and freestyling in a 360
Like
camera.
30 minutes doing this.
Literally no cap though. And then I remember doing that, and I was like, oh, I can do shit like this.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was, I think that was like the moment or the day where I was just like, yeah, I could do shit like this.
Okay, and now that's compared when you get money, right?
Right.
When was the time, or like not as, if you have a specific
Mhm.
like event, that's better. But like, what's the time that you said I have enough talent to be a great dancer?
Okay, so let me explain to you what the inner battle is going on right
Okay.
now. One half of me has always felt like that. Like I've always had this, because I used to watch a lot of I grew up with NSYNC, you know, the group NSYNC, the pop group. Justin Timberlake, you know who that is?
Yeah.
His old sorry.
Okay.
His old singing group back in like the 90s, early 2000s. Um I grew up with them and watching a lot of their dance shit. And I remember watching their shit and like practicing it and like watching their live shit. Like, yo, I will fuck this shit up. Like somewhere in my head, like I'm like, I can fuck this shit up. And I'm like what, 6, 7 at the time, like 6, 7
Okay.
years old. But in my mind, I'm doing these things, I'm watching these shows, I'm doing these steps that I see. I'm like, yo, I could do this shit. Like, just because I had fun doing it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
Like
enjoy
yeah, I enjoyed like just moving my body and like and shit like that. So I always felt like I had that sort of like,
fire.
yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, so I think the first time I ever felt like I really could do this shit was in Gigi Torres's class. Gigi Torres is like a famous dancer. She's a dancer I grew up with, and back then she was like really big. Um, and I remember she taught a class at BDC, and she taught the piece, and it was to India Ari's "Just Do You."
Okay.
It's a fire ass song. Um, and at the end of class, you know, she calls out groups, the teacher calls out groups, whatever. She was like, "Okay, I want one person to come up here," and I'm sitting there, and I'm like,
Yeah, like
"Do
that.
I go? Fuck it!" So I went up.
Okay.
So and she's like, "Okay, give me a word that." I forgot exactly what the question was, but she said something along the lines of, "Give me a word that, um, like a good quality about yourself, where people would think that like is good about you." And I said, I was like, "I'm annoying," but at the time, like that was like the only word that I knew. And
Okay.
she was like, "Oh, you mean persistent?" And I was like,
Okay.
and that was the
That's a good switch.
right. That was the first time I ever heard of the word persistent too. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, I am persistent."
Yeah.
Um, and I did it by myself. I fucked up a couple times, um, but I just remember feeling like I was already kind of like on top of the world a little bit, just because like, you know, it was one of those moments where this is this is my also my first time at BDC. I've never been to BDC before this time. This is my first class at BDC. I'm taking from Gigi Torres, and I just decide to go up there and do a fucking solo, you know? Um so yeah, it was I think that was definitely a defining moment where I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to fuck this shit up." Like
Okay.
I didn't do that well. I remember I didn't
But
do
it was
well. But
the
it was definitely like a moment where I was like, I can fucking do this.
nice.
So that was definitely one of my moments.
That's very nice though. It's a very, because you have a specific moment.
Yeah. Shout out to Gigi Torres.
Nice.
Shout out to Gigi
Now,
Torres.
in the time you actually, like, we can say you make a decision of, oh, I would like to pursue dance
Hmm.
as a career, right? What other choices do you have did you had by the moment to be like, oh, I can be a dancer, I can be a doctor, I can be like whatever.
Um
Come on, bro.
I'm gonna take my headphones off for a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut this part. Don't worry. We just came back as he took his hoodie off. So Just for you to know, it's not like he was talking and then bloop, right? Okay.
Hey, yo, shut the fuck. Don't say that. Transparency.
Uh, we don't care, okay? Nothing to pretend here, okay? Relax.
See, this is why I fuck with you.
Okay. Let's get it.
Um,
So yeah, what other options do you had in your table?
so I grew up in the church, and my dad was the music. My dad is the music director at my church.
Okay.
So as far as the handling the choirs, handling the I guess the entertainment, for lack of a better word, in the church, he kind of handles that. Um, uh, so there was always talks like, oh, you should, you could take over the choir, like you could be choir director, or you could, you know, you could do this in the church, like there were a lot of positions as far as like be, there were a lot of opportunities for me to kind of be a lot more involved in the church.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Aside from that, there was school. Um, Even though I'm still going to school now, but like I dropped out of school. Um, yeah, I think there are definitely like many opportunities for me, but those are like the big ones. Those are like like, hey, like you could do something more in the church. You could be this in the church. Or so. Yeah, I didn't really have, as far as like job wise, I wasn't really like, well, I played sports growing up, I guess a little bit, but as far as job wise, I wasn't really like kind of pushed into
Into
anything or
something.
like exposed too much like that
Okay.
growing up. So yeah, yeah.
Okay. Nice. Um, you said you dropped out of college in that
hmm
moment. Is there a specific reason you dropped out of college?
Fuck school, bro. No, no, like fuck school. They just charge you a bunch of money just so you could make grades for yourself. They don't teach you a lot of shit sometimes. But I will say that I dropped out because I really wanted to dance.
Okay.
Like I really, really wanted to dance.
How old were
Um,
you, buddy, by the moment?
2015, so I was probably like 21,
Okay.
21, 22. Um, and yeah, I was also kind of just like, at the moment it felt like I couldn't do both. It felt
Okay.
like I needed to do one or the other. Um, and dancing was just something that like my time went into.
Okay.
Dancing was just, I was on Project D at the time. I was, this was also around the time where I started kind of branching out into more dancing outside of the community.
Yeah.
I started like doing small freelance jobs here and there, um, like some backup jobs for like upcoming artists and shit like that, just getting my name and voice out there. Um, so yeah, and I really enjoyed that shit. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that life. So I was like, I want to see where this goes. So when I made that decision, that shit was rough, but um,
Yeah. So at
it's
21,
not easy.
it's not
It's not easy.
scary.
Bruh, and it's. I think for me back then, the scariest part about it was talking about it with my parents, bruh, because they again they're old. They come from a different generation than we did,
Yeah.
So like if they were in school, they were in school. They studied. Me, I wasn't. I was never really into like studying in school like that, So like I don't, I'm not into this shit like you guys were.
Yeah.
So telling them like, hey, I want to pursue dance instead of going to school.
It's
They're obviously your parents, so they're gonna show you as much love as
yeah,
possible and
but you
support.
know their
Exactly,
opinion.
but
Bro, I feel the same way.
bruh,
I had the same conversation with my parents. It's hard.
it's hard as fuck.
It's hard. The good thing is you actually had a conversation.
Yeah,
Cause some people they just like.
yeah, this is very true. It was definitely hard telling them because I know they definitely wanted me to like finish out.
Yeah.
Um, but hey, I'm going back to school now.
The thing is, the conclusion I got is that they want. So I have a personal experience. Yeah, I'm not gonna go like deep into it
Mm-hmm.
just because I would like to continue with stuff.
Do your thing.
But Is I got to the conclusion. I understand their position where they want the best for their child.
For sure.
Yeah, and the best for them is to be financially stable,
For sure.
so they can have a good education, blah blah blah, stable job. The thing is, sometimes what your parents think is the best for you is actually not the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was getting to that conclusion of, I get your point,
Yeah.
but it's really it's not the best. Like you know what I said? I said college is gonna be there forever.
Yeah.
I can still be like, just an example again. I can be still be a doctor
Yeah.
at 40 and
Yeah.
start. I cannot start at 40 and be a dancer.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, so I I agree with that to some degree.
Okay.
Um, I think that you can do whatever you want whenever you want to fucking do it.
Okay.
So I think that there are so many things in this life that are accessible to us.
Yeah.
Like we can do anything we want to. I think we have, as humans, we have the capability to do whatever the fuck we want. Now, granted, there are definitely, it's not just as black and white as I'm gonna just do this and then that's it. There's a lot of gray
Gray
area.
areas.
There's a lot of gray area in there. It's never just that simple. But I do think as humans we're capable. We're
Yeah.
capable. We have a lot of capabilities as humans. So I feel like I'm what, going on 30. I know people who are 2 years younger than me, maybe 3 years younger than me. Their own place, their own husband, kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they have these successful quote unquote lives. You know what I mean? And as I'm 30, I'm turning 30. I'm living with my parents. I'm making
Yeah.
sure my parents are good. I don't live by myself.
Yeah.
As far as other things that like I see other people are doing, like I don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm not up there yet. I'm not where they are in some sort of way. So I feel like, but I do believe that even though I am 29 going on 30, I got time. Even
Yeah.
if I could say the same thing, even if I was 45, 40, I can still believe to myself. I feel like even if I'm 40, 45, I still got time.
Yeah.
Like if I have, my uncle says it best. If you have, what did he say in the song? I'm gonna see if I can try to get this. If you have breath in your lungs, there's life. And if you have life in your limbs, there's hope. And I'm paraphrasing. I think
Yeah.
that's the lyrics, but
Then
it
your uncle would be like,
almost nephew, almost. Um, but I think about that a lot when it comes to the things that like I tell myself that I want to do or can't do, because okay, I'm sitting here, I have this breath, I'm breathing. Okay, I can move my arms.
yeah.
I can do this. I can do basic shit. So I can do anything. I'm good. I can move. I'm healthy. I can do things.
Yeah.
Um. So I do. But I agree. That you can be a doctor, a lawyer, a dancer, a guitarist, a visual artist, anything you want to be now, even later on in life. It'll definitely be harder. So much fucking harder. Like even now, I'm going on 30, and I think about this to myself. Like when I was fucking 21, I was slapping motherfuckers in the face. I was at a point where I was like, ooh, you can't stop my body. My body's going the
Just
fuck off.
going.
But now, like I'm getting to that age where it's like, okay, you got to think about shit now. You got to
Okay.
calm. You got
You
to
gotta
calm
be
down.
wiser.
Yeah, you got to be wiser about the things you're doing now.
Okay.
So I feel like it definitely gets harder as you get older,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's like impossible. I think it's attainable. It's just I think there are things that you have to do to make sure that you can get there,
Yeah.
and that's
I
the
feel like
difficult part.
there's I'm gonna like translate that. There's a guy that I like. There's a viral video in social media in Spanish, right?
Nice.
Which is, he says, we have a magical stupid thought. I'm not saying,
You
let
call me
me
stupid?
I'm like, yeah, no, just kidding. No. I'm just saying what he said, okay?
No, you're
So
good. You're good. You're
meaning
good.
so meaning and he said, he put example, right? sometimes we believe like everything we can like achieve everything, which
Mm-hmm.
I do believe it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
honestly do believe it. But sometimes it's like, oh, I love to dance,
Yeah.
or I love to sing, but you don't sing well. But I
Mm.
love to
I see what you
sing,
mean. Yeah,
but
yeah,
you can't sing,
yeah.
sweetie.
Yeah.
So so
Facts.
meaning it's great that we believe that we can achieve everything that we want.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we were in that thought, then
Mm.
nothing will be possible.
Mm-hmm.
But also awareness,
Yeah.
right? So meaning, hey, like, okay, for me, I wanted to be a professional soccer player,
Oh, I didn't know this. Nice.
and I actually like trained like all my life, 10 years,
That's fire.
like in a professional,
Oh, fuck you up.
semi-professional, in soccer
Oh,
soccer
fuck you
team.
up.
Nah,
Nah, I'm
I'm like
lying. I'm
trash.
lying. I'm lying. I'm
I'm like,
lying
and
again.
I get bigger.
My feet are trash. I can't.
No,
I can't
and
kick
and
shit.
and I'm almost 25,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost impossible that if I switch my mind right now
Mm.
and I'd be like, oh, let me get back to soccer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, like,
That's gonna be
so
harder.
there's certain facts that you need to take in
Mm-hmm.
consideration, right? So bro, I'm totally agree with you that you are able to and capable of doing whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
until what extent.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree. Yeah, yeah,
Because I
yeah.
feel like it's very important that not the I'm not a person of being like, oh, I gotta be an example, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an example for anyone. If
Mm-hmm.
someone inspire, I inspire someone, that's good. But I
Right.
don't like to take the responsibility if I have to say something. But it's important that you, like, at least for yourself, you create awareness and not being spreading the word of being like, oh, everything is magic and everything is gonna be
Yeah.
love, because it's not like that.
Right.
Life is cruel,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're like spreading that, and I'm not meaning you, like I'm meaning as a whole. If we come like spreading that much, um again, like that magically, or I don't know how I said, like,
Yeah. No,
the magically stupid thought or something like
yeah.
that, without awareness, is very like, so it's good to be like confident until a certain point.
There's a book that I'm reading called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Okay.
So fucking good. I'm on chapter 4. Um, and it mentioned something similar in the sense of like he was talking about like self-help gurus and self-help books, and they're like, yo, they're nice words, they're nice things to say, but it's not giving anything real. Like you can't tell little Benny who's dealing with depression for like 5 years because of something that happened 10 years ago that just if you just put your mind to it, you can do anything you want to. That you can't
Exactly.
just tell him that. You
Exactly.
can't just tell him that because they're again,
Dealing with the
it's that gray area. It's like
yeah.
yo, like it's not just simple as you know what. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna because then when he does that, probably like an hour or two later, he's gonna think about that shit that happened to him 10 years ago again. You
Suicide or
know,
something,
exactly.
Yeah,
He gonna think about that thing again.
exactly. So it's important that you said, like, you, like, as a whole, right? Uh, we said like, hey, yeah, like, it's great that you think this and that, but they take this in consideration.
So yeah, I agree that everybody is capable of doing whatever they want to do, but I also agree that in being capable, there is that awareness. There is that sort of like that realism where it's like, okay, I can't just say that I'm capable of doing this and then dusting all of my shit under the rug,
Yeah, exactly.
and then just going about my day. No, because it's
And the
not gonna
thing is,
help.
sometimes, like, some people that live like that,
Right.
they take the role of a victim.
Yeah.
So
Right.
meaning they're not aware of like what they're like not doing correctly. So they're
Hmm.
like, oh, everyone's against me, or what, blah blah blah. Is, again, maybe you're not getting the auditions because you can't sing,
Hmm.
and you think you can sing, and but you don't. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, on that topic, that's
That's some real shit.
yeah.
That's some real
Okay.
shit.
Continuing with the work stuff, just a couple more questions.
Let's get it.
In This is your personal opinion, okay? So whatever you say is not like written on,
Oh, for sure. My word ain't bond. Hmm.
exactly. So in your personal experience, um, what do you think it should be like a good price for a beginner teacher to charge or be paid by a studio? So meaning, oh, I'm a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start teaching.
Mm-hmm.
What should be a good price that I can charge, and that they're not gonna like take advantage of me?
Mm-hmm. Pricing has always been like a fickle, like this kind of sensitive, not sensitive topic for me, but it's always been this kind of fickle topic to discuss sometimes because I always feel like for me when I first started teaching out and I used to just host pop up classes at Ripley Greer, like I was charging like $5, $7, you know. Now it's just because like I personally didn't necessarily care how many people showed up. It was more of like I just want to see people show up, you know. Um, like I know that, um, but that's the thing. Giving a price is sort of like I feel like a lot of times giving more so a price for me was just to help me pay for the studio. Like
Okay.
if I had it, I would have just gave a free class. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Um, and that's like at least me starting off. Um, just simply because when I first started off, I know what I know, but I don't know how to formulate it in this. And so to answer your question, I do think that a lot of dancers should start off charging lower prices, as
Okay.
low as they can. Um, and the reason why I say that is not to undersell them and not to like decrease the value of them as a dancer. Your foot scared the shit out of me, bro.
Oh,
Oh
really?
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Son,
just stretching.
I'm looking and then I just see like a thing just pop up and I was like, the fuck? I was like, you got a cat and now you was sleeping or some shit? Oh my gosh, that scared me.
There you go. You go.
Um
Yo.
he's wearing orange socks, by the way, if you guys didn't know.
Red.
Red. Ah, shit. It was a color. It was a bright color.
Out of red shoes.
I'm
Gosh.
wearing black slippers right now. So
Well,
what
prices.
prices, right? So I think that when you first start teaching, and I think this is a lot of thing that, and this is a conversation. This has different layers. So I'm not gonna try and get into all of them. But I do believe that I hold the word teacher and teaching at a very high regard.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're taking a bunch of classes, learning from a bunch of people, and you decide one day that I want to teach a class, cool. I would like it.
It's a free country.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's no like gatekeeper that's saying no, you cannot
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
teach. You know, if anything, what I can suggest, if you are a young dancer and you're trying to get into the teaching game, bring an OG or somebody that you look up to in some way that's trained you or given you a lot of knowledge in whatever style that you have. Let them attend your class.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that that's a good way, because sometimes I think, and going back to the
Yeah.
teaching, I put teaching at a high regard, because I think, oh, that says battery low.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Um, oh, it died. Bye. Um, I look at teaching as a high regard. So whenever you say that you are teaching, whenever you say that you are teaching, oh God, excuse me. Now it's kind of gotten into like classes have become choreography sessions versus actual classes. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by I take the word teaching at a high regard. Like, um, when I in my classes, I teach. Like, in Edson Maldonado's class, if you've ever taken Edson Maldonado classes, like Edson gives you tools. Edson gives you things to actually take home with you. Um, Now, obviously, there are different classes for different things, so depending on what your style is, like teach his own. Um, but I do think that as somebody who's starting off teaching, I think as far as pricing goes, I don't think you should be charging students more than $10, $10, $15.
Okay.
You know.
That's whenever you set your own class.
Yes.
But
Yes.
whenever, let's say, you get the opportunity to teach at a bodega
Mm-hmm.
or a brick house or a
Mm-hmm.
Broadway or a Dance Millennium or just a small studio,
Take the opportunity.
yeah, what should be like a good price to be like, hey, um, Darien,
Mm-hmm.
let's imagine you have like not that much like teacher experience,
Mm-hmm.
so your first job as a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and I come as a studio owner and say, Darien, how much will you charge me to teach every Saturday from 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 hip hop class for my students?
See, at a dance studio, I think is a little different, just because um, with dance studios, and this can kind of go into like even as solo like dancers as well, who aren't represented by a specific studio, who
Yeah,
don't teach at a studio. Um, you need money
yeah,
for the studio to kind of run. You know what I'm saying? So as a dance studio owner, like
lowest price.
whatever whatever you feel like you need to charge for this class, by all means. Like I think at a studio, like I know um, at Bodega, it used to be, I think they started off with like $15 classes. Because of pandemic and everything, it raised up to $20. Um, but even at BDC used to be, when I started
Yeah,
te- learning there, it's $20. I think they raised up to like $24 now, 22. So, um, but I get it, because these studios have
they're
other dancers and other classes there. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
a company,
Yeah, exactly.
and
And they
like,
need their money,
and the thing is, I feel like this is a personal opinion,
right?
right?
Yeah, you're a studio owner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is, I feel like some people they really don't see the big picture.
Right,
They just think about here, for
right.
example, right? So we love dancing.
Mm-hmm.
We love
Of,
dancing.
of course.
And the feeling that it gives is like we're all friends and the community
Right,
and everything love. The
right.
thing is, the world doesn't run by love.
Yeah,
So it doesn't matter the company, if it's a cleaning company, landscaping company, a
yeah.
dance studio, they're all companies.
You got to
The
support it, and
the
then you have to
the, the
grow it.
finish, the goal of the company is to make money.
Exactly.
It's not to, like, honestly, it's not to support a community. Yeah, it can come with the idea
Hmm.
of, but the end
But
is
even but
money.
even even in that aspect, in order for you to support that community, you have to expand. You
Exactly.
can't always like, I can't. It's like putting it's like putting a baby shark in a fish tank. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like that shark isn't gonna grow to its fullest potential if it's gonna stay in the fish tank. You gotta put it
exactly.
in the ocean. You
Exactly.
know. So same thing with like a lot of these businesses. Like these businesses need to grow.
Yeah,
So
and they
it's
need to charge money.
exactly,
And that's the
exactly.
thing that we don't see because the dancers, they're not that financially stable,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And but so you're just thinking about, oh, I don't have the money to pay it.
Hmm.
But okay, so I have clients, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes I charge my money, and they're like, why so much?
Hmm.
And I honestly, I've done this. I'm
Hmm.
like, what type of car do you have? And they're like, I don't know, a Toyota Corolla.
Hmm.
Why don't you have a Ferrari? Because I can't afford
Hmm.
it. Do you think Ferrari's gonna lower their prices because you can't afford it? No, right?
Mm,
So you're not gonna go to a Ferrari store asking for a lower price because
right,
you can't afford it,
right,
right?
right,
So I'm sorry, my lady. I charge this money.
right,
If you don't like it, doors are open to you,
right,
but I'm not going lower than that.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And even though, and that's a good point, because like even going back to what I said about, like as a beginner teacher, you know what I'm saying, like teaching class like the first time, like if you've trained under Dana Foglia and Kelly Peters and all these other big name choreographers, and you feel like your value is that high, well, I'm not like, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you think your worth is, do your thing. But if I go into your class and I don't learn anything,
I'm not
yo,
going back.
I'm not going, exactly. I'm not going back. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like you can charge $20, $25 an arm and a leg for your class, but if I go to your class and I'm not learning anything,
Yeah.
if I'm just going there just to learn like a really fire ass piece and to learn a dope piece of choreography, cool. That's fire. But if I'm not learning anything of some sort of substance, I wouldn't want to go
I
back.
think it puts you in a very difficult position
Mhm.
as a teacher, I think,
Okay.
because it's like comedy,
Okay.
right? Like you come and cancel a comedian thinking that what they say is going to affect the society,
Mm.
which is actually vice versa.
Right.
What the society is what the comedian is going to say.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So what happens, personal opinion again, and I fuck with my opinion, like I stand with it, is
Good.
that okay, I'm a teacher,
Mhm.
right? And we live in this generation of I need this ASAP. Like
Mhm.
I need it right now. I need to feel
Mhm.
good today,
Right.
not tomorrow, blah blah blah. So okay, I want to teach.
Right.
But out of 10 students, one wants to actually learn.
Mhm.
So let's say I have one kid, two kids.
Mhm.
I'm a dancer, I'm a teacher.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Are you gonna keep teaching?
Exactly.
Or you're gonna try to play the game and do choreo and maybe slash teach?
Yeah.
So who is there to blame? I'm not saying that's correct,
Right.
but there's that real situation.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah, I want to teach, but my students are not coming because this young generations they want to be like in TikTok and shit like that, and they
Mhm.
want to do like the video for today, not for
Mhm.
tomorrow. They don't want to wait 1 year, 2 years to be a good quality dancer.
Mhm.
So, as a teacher, what do you do?
As I'm like a I'm one of I am a walking example of that. Like I was definitely because I come from a family of educators. I work at a school. My mom is a retired teacher. My dad is a retired social worker. My dad's mom, my grandmother, she was a vice principal. Um, a lot of my friends in Patterson or like people that I know are working in education. Like I come from an edu-
Education environment,
I
educators actually.
exactly. So um it's hard for like you said, especially when everything is immediate, you know what I'm saying? Like it's hard for somebody like me who's trying to get this like base for his teaching as far as his class. It's hard for students to kind of come out and really like appreciate that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they want to go to classes. They
for
want to go
sure.
to classes that they want to go to, and a lot of those classes are the ones that are just kind of teaching you like very fire choreography and very like the hot steps. You know what I'm saying? Like which is again
Dope.
to each his own. You know what I'm saying? I'm not downgrading or not trying to
No.
undercut that at all because it's a fire thing. It's like it's I think that's a different part of training. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and the
saying?
thing is that you have to have the skill to make dope choreos.
Exactly.
Like, okay, you're
Exactly.
criticizing, do it.
Exactly.
It's not for everyone.
So and that's the thing. I knew that I had an amazing gift of creating choreography, but I knew that as a young teacher, I wasn't that great at sharing that,
Yeah,
at teaching it. I
yeah.
remember my very first
Takes time.
class, my very first class in New York. It was to I think I talked to I forgot the name of the team. It was an older team. I forgot the name of the team, but I literally remember it was an hour and a half class, and every like 10, 15 minutes, I kept saying, "I suck. I'm sorry. I suck. I'm sorry. I
Oh
suck.
shit!
I suck. I'm sorry." And I remember, uh,
Someone approached you or something.
no, I so afterwards, Edson and my other brother Reese, they took my class, and I remember it was like, "Yo, what do you guys think?" And the first thing out of both of their mouths was like, "Stop saying you suck. Like, don't say you suck, because one, it depletes your value as a dancer, as a teacher, you know what I'm saying? And on top of that, it brings down the morale of the entire classroom
Yeah.
because like if I'm a student and I'm listening to the teacher just keep saying like I suck, I suck, I suck, then I'm questioning like, okay, do I suck? Was I supposed to come here? Damn, so are you even a good teacher?
Teacher.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and aside from those thoughts, like hearing that like and actually seeing it is just like you don't suck, like why you like it brings down a lot of the morale in the classroom. And that was something that I took a lot from as far as my teaching, but that's what I mean, like as a teacher I wasn't that great at kind of executing how I wanted to share my movement,
Yeah.
how I wanted to express like, okay, your arm needs to go here, this is what the dynamic is, this is how your foot needs to be here, like your body needs to be like this. I wasn't
What do
good at
they mean?
I wasn't good at explaining that and
But it's just
breaking
lack
that
of
down.
experience. It's
Exactly,
just that.
and that was like my very first class, but I'm a way better teacher than I was back then,
Yeah.
you know, and that just took time and experience,
Yeah.
So
It takes time.
again, going back to, if you are a beginner teacher and you feel like your value is at $20, $25, good, but just make sure that your class is going to give something to somebody,
Yeah.
not just a fire step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whether it can be a fire step, but let me walk away with, whether it's something for my body, let me walk away with something, whether it's something for my mind, let me walk away with something for my soul. Like, let me walk away with something than just, these steps are fire and it's here,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so that's my 2 cents.
Nice. Drops mic. um. Okay. Just last two questions about work stuff.
Hmm.
Okay. I know you have experience of judging,
Yeah.
right? In this case, this payment, these payments, this jobs, they're always paid or not always paid.
The judges' jobs.
Yeah.
Most of them are usually paid. All of them are actually
Okay.
paid. Actually, yeah.
Okay. Good. And just like a general idea. How do you judge a dance team?
That's a good question. Um, so me personally, um, I am a big performance guy. Um, I'm a big performance and dynamic guy. And I think a lot of dancers and teams get the word dynamic confused with big and
Extra.
yeah, extra. But I think dynamic has different layers to it. So you can be big, but then learn how to kind of like be big and then switch down to being small if you need to. That's also a dynamic, you know. Um, so for me, when it comes to judging, that's one thing. Like, how well are you executing your dynamics in your set? You know,
Yeah.
like, as far as like music wise, like your set mix, like if there are multiple songs, like, I do think song placement is a very
It's very
important
important.
factor when it comes to like in your mix. It's a very very important factor when it comes to
Yeah.
like your set. Um, uh, Not only that, but your choreography, like the dynamics in your choreography, um, uh, and more specifically on the execution of a lot of things. So shout out to Prelude. Um, I am a head judge or foundational judge for Prelude. And basically what that is, we're still working out a lot of the kinks as far as like how to incorporate it into our judging system. But basically, I'm just looking at teams and making sure that, excuse me,
Okay.
that they are paying homage to certain styles that they incorporate into their dance sets, right? Um, so um, yeah, so even with that, even as being like a foundational judge, I also look for dynamics in that, because, like, granted, and this is where one of the flaws that we're kind of like working on or kind of piece together, like break apart to sort of make better, is the fact that head judges aren't gatekeepers. You know,
Okay.
like we don't know. So whenever you perform at Prelude, you're supposed to submit 3 styles that you're going to perform in your set, and
Okay.
you got to send them in to Prelude. So the judges, for the judges' sake, so like, and this is more specifically for the foundational judge.
Okay.
So when we're looking at your set, and you say in your application you're going to put light feet, you're going to put house, and then you're going to put whacking. So you submit that to us. Now, as foundational judge, I know what I'm looking for in
Okay.
your set. I'm looking
If
for
I don't
house.
see that, you're fucked.
Exactly. If I don't see that, because we're the foundational judge, we either add bonus points if you did have it, or we deduct points if not if you don't have it. We're not going to deduct points if you don't have that
But if you don't
style.
execute them
Exactly.
correctly.
So we do basic deductions, like if a wardrobe malfunction or if somebody falls on stage, like those are small, like small, very small minimal points taken off. Um, but even within the realm of a foundational judge, I look at, if you give me 2 8 counts of, like, locking,
Okay.
right? I need to see like at least one phrase or two accounts of like the most like unbelievable whacking ever, or
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, like, or not whacking, locking ever.
Yeah.
In the sense of like it doesn't necessarily have to be two accounts of the same locking move. You
Yeah.
know, like yes, you're adding in locking, but what else can you do with that? You know, you
Yeah.
want to do it over here and then switch it over here
Yeah, because
and you
sometimes
bring it to the
they
down.
just do it. Sometimes I've seen they do it just to complete the requirement.
Exactly.
Oh, you
And
want
that's
like lucky curious. Okay, let me
exactly.
continue doing my thing.
And that's the gray area that Prelude is trying to figure out with their judging system as far as like adding that foundational judge in there, because there are a lot of teams who can just put that in there and be like, okay, so give me my points. You
Yeah,
know, like because technically as a foundational judge we have to give you points because you put it in there, right? um
but there's a gray area there of being
exactly.
like, hey, not like this.
Exactly. So for me as a personal judge, as a foundational judge, or even as a regular judge, I pay attention to a lot of dynamics in your movement, dynamics in your performance, dynamics in your mix, um, how how well you guys are with kind of like, you know, telling whatever story that you guys are telling, even if there isn't a story. You know what I'm saying? Like how well
Yeah.
you can kind of put your set together. Um, Yeah. There are a lot of like judges who are a lot more like clinical and a lot more like nitpicky at certain
Yeah.
things. And I know that I can be, but
You don't want to.
um, not that I don't want to. It's just a lot of my focus goes towards the dynamics and
Okay.
the general dynamic, not the general, but just the dynamics of the set. You know. So that's how I judge. That's how I look
Okay,
at judging.
nice. Yeah, just do you want more?
No, I'm good. I'm
Are
good
you
for right
sure?
now. I'm good for right now.
Okay, bet. Um,
I can't have too much soda.
just I'm just curious, right? Whenever the set is happening,
Hmm.
are you actually like just focusing here? Are you focusing in writing
Oh, that shit's hard.
or what?
That shit's hard.
Oh,
No, no, doing that.
yeah,
Like,
because the thing is, or some did something like this happen to you before? I remember I was a judge, but I was not a judge in
okay,
my country. Like there was this competition that happened.
okay.
It was during the pandemic. It was an online competition in my country.
Hmm.
So I'm the first one from my country to come like to LA and stuff. So whatever.
Nice.
So the thing is, one of the judges said like, "Hey, can we like judge in private and then like so meaning okay, so you upload the video, right?
Okay,
So it's not
okay,
live.
okay. I see.
So then you take the time and the judges take the time of watching all the videos and be like, they have the
I
time.
see. Yeah, right, right,
So I
right.
was like, hey, are you available so you can judge the thing with me? So because you have a better understanding of foundation and stuff just because you're in the US.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, okay. So this happened to me, and so I like the team better because honestly, like there were more foundational and stuff, whatever.
Hmm.
But whenever I added the points, the team that I wanted to win didn't win because I was like, so meaning
Mm,
there's like I don't know 5 sections of 10. So
yeah,
I put I don't know from first and second place for my point of view, it was like 7, 8, 6,
yeah,
5. So in my idea, team is gonna get better.
right.
But then when I put 3 and then I put 8 and
Yeah.
this and then I was like, for example, it was 38 versus 41,
Yeah.
and I was like, but that's not the team I really like. So I was like, erased. Did
Right.
something happen to you like that, or
So another like, I guess, uh, flaw that we're kind of working on with the foundational judge position is the simple fact that, so there have been multiple times where they don't put the foundational judge scores in
oh,
and they just put the three judges scores in, and we'll have like, okay, out of all the teams, just on the three judges, first, second, and third place, these are the titles. And then when you put the deductions in, the foundational judge scores in, that changes everything. And I'm just like, oh shit. So like in there have been multiple times where, or maybe once or twice, where the judges have kind of like had to like look over their judges' notes and make sure that these teams are because they're like
Yeah, it happens. It
there
happens.
have honestly been times where like we've looked at some teams and be like, nah, we we like we okay. So based on the scores, like we'll have like our calculator. Shout out to Gabe. Gabe will like tabulate all the scores. Like here, based on tabulations, here are the winners, first, second, and third. We'll look at it and be like, what about so and so? No, 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 no. We got to no. So and so got to be in. No, wait, what? So then we'll have to
Yeah.
talk about it again. So we're like, nah,
Yeah, it's
this
a lot of
can't be. This
responsibility.
can't be. Nah. But it's judging. Judging is hard. Like I remember growing up and wanting to have that responsibility to judge because I was like, yo, like I can, shit.
I'm the shit.
I can judge too. The fuck. But then actually doing it, I was like, this is scary,
Yeah,
yo. Like it's everything is happening at like
so fast.
really
Yeah,
fast, bruh.
there's not sports. Like, let me see the
Bruh, yeah,
replay.
exactly. So, but the benefit of it is, and this is why I like a lot of like those um those like dance competitions, like conventions and shit like that. They have like the 6 judges up in front, but they all have microphones.
Okay.
So that's the one thing that I enjoy about Prelude judging system. Like we have papers where we have the scoring rubric and the scoring tabulations, whatever, and the calculations. But we also have like these like microphone recorders that we can talk into and give live notes instead of because before those we would just have to
Yeah.
put our head down and like keep looking up and
Yeah, and
now
then you miss something.
exactly. But now, like, I can talk into a microphone and, like, okay, yeah, you guys are doing this. Okay, make sure that this is tighter on the left. The formation was a little loose on the left.
Okay,
All
she
right, that
felt.
yeah,
She felt.
exactly. Like I can give like critiques and everything, like too. Like yo,
Yeah.
like there have been teams where I've like looked at them like, okay, I see what you guys are doing, but I think that one thing that can help you with that part a little
And
bit
this and
better,
this and that.
exactly,
Nice.
So the microphones help a lot because it helps giving critiques in real
It's more
time.
natural
Yeah,
also.
it gives yeah, exactly. It's like I uh because I've been working with Prelude for a little bit, and
Yeah.
there are judges who come in that haven't really worked in the same like judging
Environment or.
exactly. So I'm like telling them they're like they get these microphones. They're like, oh, what do I say? I don't know. I don't know what to say. Just girl, just say whatever the fuck.
Hello.
Yeah, say whatever the fuck you want to. I'm like, yo, that shit was fire, bro. I be on the microphones, be going off like, yo, shit, shorty in the front went off, bro. That shit was hard. I don't give a fuck.
So you have fun judging a lot.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure. It's
Even though
fun.
it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Going to the more personal stuff. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
Okay.
Mhm.
How many females? How many males?
I have a younger sister who's
Okay.
26. I have 2 older half brothers who, sorry, Darnell and Ditto. I don't know their age. I forgot their
Okay.
age, but they are definitely in their 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, I have old family. My dad is 74.
Something.
He's 74.
Okay.
He's turning 75 this year. My mom
Nice.
is turning 60 this year.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm like the kind of middle child. I'm 20,
Okay.
29.
How's your relationship with your parents?
I love my parents. My dad and I were my dad and I kind of have like a secret language with each other where we can just kind of look at each other and like know how we're feeling kind of and we could just kind of move accordingly. Um so my dad and I don't communicate at least with words
Yeah.
that much. But I definitely know my dad more than I know a lot of other people. Just same thing with my dad. My dad knows me more than he knows a lot of other people. My mom is like, I love my mom. My mom is my pillow. She's like some like kind of like a best friend of mine. Um, yeah, I'm pretty close to my mom.
Was it always like that with your dad, for example, or there was like a turning point in your teenage years and be like, hey, I need to be
Um,
better, son, or something like that?
I think when I started getting older and I started having more responsibilities as an adult, like that's when I started kind of like finding more appreciation and love for like my dad and my parents and everything like that. Like I feel like It was, yeah. It wasn't until like I started getting a little older, like as in like in my 20s or something like that, where I really started mid 20s, mid to late 20s, where I was
Okay.
really just like, oh wow, these are my parents, you know, like, and I really fuck with them, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Before that, it was more like a boss.
yeah, before that, it was they were just my parents, you know,
Yeah,
like,
like
and
a
I
boss. As a,
love them.
yeah,
I
but
love
as an
them.
authority.
I love them just the same, like as I would like growing up. I love my parents. I've always loved my parents, but I think as I started getting older and more aware of like myself and who they were, that's when I started kind of getting a little bit more closer with them. Um, uh, I was able to see them more. They were able to see me how I was more and stuff like that. And they were a little bit more. They were a lot more accepting of who I was and everything like that. Um,
When was that? Like, how old were you when you felt like more accepted into
uh,
with your parents?
again, like probably mid to late 20s, probably like 26 around that
Okay.
time. Like so that's when I started like really just like, oh yeah, these are my parents.
And like before that, how you like manage knowing that you were not accepted in that in the way you're saying it?
Ooh.
How did you manage all that time? Be like, oh, my parents really don't accept what I do or what I think, or how do I do everything?
I didn't manage it that well.
Okay.
Um, I I feel like, and this wasn't even just from my parents too. I felt a lot of not. I didn't feel as accepted with, you know, within my family at a lot of points in my life. You know, and not even just specifically my close family, but just in general. Um, I had a lot of trouble accepting who I was at the time. Um, and who I was this big-hearted person, um, and I still find it true to this day to some degree. Um, but who I was this big-hearted person who needed things and needed a certain type of love and a certain type of
Affection.
affection. Yeah, and I didn't get that. So, and I didn't know how to ask for it. I didn't know how to seek for it. I didn't know what it looked like. So I buried myself into things that I thought was it. Um, and for a lot of us, for not let me not speak for all guys, but for some people that can translate into having sex
Yeah.
multiple times with, you know, multiple women, you know,
Okay.
lying, you know, like for me it was a lot of, you know, I lied to my parents a lot. Um, I lied to women a lot too. Like that was like I'm not proud of it obviously like at all, but that was definitely like where I would find a lot of my peace,
Okay.
for lack of a better way of putting it, when it came to the type of love that I needed, that I wish I kind of got from my parents, or the kind of love that I wish that I gotten from some family, that I wish that I gotten from some friends, like that went into kind of like bad habits, bad habitual systems for myself.
What what kind of acceptance were you looking for in your family, at least?
Um, so whenever I think about that, I think about one specific instance when I was like 11, maybe, probably younger than that. I remember, no, I was definitely younger than that. I think I was like maybe like 8 or 9. I was at church, and uh, when you're at church and there are kids there that who were older than you, like the older group was like 15, 16 years old. They were in high school already. And I'm just this kid who wants to be down with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember uh, they were having a conversation in like the fellowship hall, which is just the basement of our church. And they were having a conversation because we had rehearsal or something. They're having a conversation, and this was around the time where I had just learned about cursing. So like curse words are my shit, yo. So like I remember they were having this conversation, and I fucking interrupted the conversation. Like, hey, because they were talking about movies,
Okay.
and I just remember I was like, hey, did you you guys saw that movie where they said ass, ass, remember ass? And they looked at me and they were like, okay. And they kept going with their conversation. And I remember that day and I was like, I just wanted to I felt shitty because I was like, yo, I just wanted to express my happiness for figuring out that they said the word ass in the movie. Like, accept me, damn it. I was like, whenever I think about like acceptance, I think about
That moment.
that one specific moment. Because I remember how I felt. I was just like, oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck about how I feel or like what I'm thinking about. So that was definitely a moment where I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just slide away. You know, you
Yes.
can't. But so as far as now, like when it comes to acceptance, you know, or wait, ask your question one more time. This happens sometimes too.
Yeah, don't worry. It happens a lot in the podcast. We've been talking for a while, so
We
it
have,
happens.
yeah.
I forgot. Also, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Give me a second.
Fuck, fuck.
So what? Yeah, I remember now. What kind of acceptance were you looking for?
Right. I just wanted somebody to look at me and be like, he's weird. That's okay. Like I
As
feel
simple
like
as that.
it's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that I think that people looked at a lot of things that I did and said as like this thing, or at least how I felt, you know. They looked at the things that I said and did as these things that like what makes somebody think that or say that? Like why what? Like they were questioning it so much and they were kind of like but not in a way that they were curious. It was more of like
React
it was
like
like you what the
very
fuck? Like stop.
aggressive,
Yeah, like stop.
and they make you feel like less.
Like I got called country a lot growing up. Like I got called and this is kind of like I got called country a lot for how I was thinking, like how I dress, like um how I would react to certain things. Like people would just kind of look at me like the fuck, like they knew I was like this cute kid. They knew I was like this like really like lovable and like very energetic and happy kid. But they just looked at a lot of things that I did was just like what, like um. So I just wish that somebody would just. I wish that more people, at least at that time, as far as acceptance goes, family included, would have just looked at me and been like, yeah, he says some really weird shit, but that doesn't make him like it doesn't make him this person that I can't
Talk.
really.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's like a fly or something like that. You killed it. He just wanted to be accepted.
nah, fuck him.
Okay.
He been flying around this room this entire time.
Yeah, you saw that? You were seeing him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him. I was like,
There was a moment where I was talking and I was like I was like just answer your question, but I saw it crawling. I was like this.
okay. So in this like stage of your life,
Mhm.
um you love your parents. We all do,
I love my parents.
but we all also know that they're not perfect.
Hmm.
What could they do better in that stage of your life to make you feel better?
I'm not gonna show this to my parents. Um, in this stage of my life or that stage
No,
of my
that
life?
stage.
Um, I think that my parents did an excellent job at showering me with love, and I think my parents did a good job, especially my mom. Um, my parents did a really good job at making sure that I felt special. They did a really good job at making me feel like loved and appreciated, at least for they made me feel loved. They um but I do believe that if there was something that I can like I would I wish that they were a little bit more real with me about the things that happened outside of them
The
loving me.
house.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like uh I my sister and I cuz I it was me and my sister growing up. My brothers moved to
They're grown
California.
up.
They were grown up. Um so it was me and my sister. I wish that we got introduced to a little bit more of the things that we would really need growing up. I think that we got a good introduction to certain things. I think that our parents exposed us to certain things that we needed. But I, as far as like teaching us certain things. Like I do believe that I wish that I do wish that our parents, my sister and I, taught us the real things that we needed in life. But I also believe that our parents didn't know that we would become dancers. I truly believe that. I think they knew that we were good at dancing and moving
Yeah, but they
around,
wouldn't.
but they didn't know about this lifestyle back then. You know what I'm saying? Um, with the exception of my dad. So my dad, music runs in my family also. My dad was the manager of a group called Riff back in like the 90s.
Okay.
And my brother was the. You ever heard of a song called "If I Ever Fall in Love Again"?
Maybe.
And if ever fall in love
It
again.
sounds like familiar, to be honest.
So my brother was a part of that group, and that was like a number one, number two song in like the '90s on the Billboard charts for a long time. So I come from that side of like I come from that
Artistic.
artistic family. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and back then it was a. I mean, it still is kind of a rough industry, like in the dance industry or just in the music industry in general. Just everybody's competing against each other. But back then it was rough. People were getting taken advantage of left and right. So a lot of things that my dad had to do was out of like fear to make sure that.
Everything was fun.
Exactly. Like so now me living in the newer generation where everything is a little bit more immediate, it's a little bit simpler than it was back
Yeah.
then. Um like I'm still kind of getting that same sort of like make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. And these are, valuable things to pick up on. These are things to be aware of. Um but yeah, so I think
Yeah.
overall, I think I wish that I learned more about real shit. I got exposed to it, but I don't think I was.
You think you were like living in a bubble?
Yeah, 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 yeah. For lack of a better way of putting it, I definitely was sheltered. I was a sheltered kid, you know. Um, so it taught me the importance of togetherness. It taught me the importance of having family and having people together. Um, but it taught me it taught me how to kind of be imaginative. It taught me how to see the special in somebody. It taught me how to see the beautiful in somebody. Um, but as far as like that realism, I didn't get that. So sometimes I don't look at a lot of. Sometimes I don't take a lot of the things. Like I realized this about myself in 2023. I didn't take a lot of the things that I did in my life seriously, and it's simply because I looked at things as this through this special view. Like this is special. This is meaningful. This is love versus like thinking about it in multiple perspectives in different ways to understand like yeah, this is special, but there's also this underlying thing that you also got to think about. And I don't think I got a lot of lessons in how to really understand that about certain things growing up. um so it kind of aided into the fact that I didn't take a lot of things seriously because I looked at everything as fantasy.
Yeah.
I was put in a bubble. So yeah.
In this case, you feel this acceptance stuff. Do you think it relates why you are so empathetic with kids with special needs?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think like how I mentioned before, like you know, I think with a lot of these kids, knowing that I've lived a very sheltered life, I know that my life isn't the same as this kid's right now. So it definitely gives me like I look at these kids. It definitely helps me with a lot of these kids that I work with because I know that you know my circumstances were different. Their circumstances are different now. And I can't. And as I work with kids more, I understand like I can't look at them the same way I look at myself. I can't treat them or discipline them the same way that I've been disciplined because they grew up in a different house with a different parent, with a different mom, learning different words in a different way. Um, but yeah,
How
yeah.
you? now as an adult,
Mhm.
how you deal with acceptance?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I think before when I was younger, I didn't want to accept shit. Like like I didn't want to accept the fact that, a lot of people were human and people make mistakes. I didn't like accepting that. Some like growing up, I was the type of person because I lived in this sheltered kind of special bubble. I I was now as an adult when I look at acceptance, I treat it as if I'm not the only person that lives here. I'm not the only person that is me. I don't have these tattoos. I don't think the same way. Well, there's somebody in this world who doesn't have the same tattoos, who doesn't think the same way that I do, doesn't look the same way that I do, who didn't have Dale and Xena as their parents, who doesn't have Damani as his sister, who doesn't have Darnell as his half brother or Ditto as his half brother. Um, there's somebody in this world who, you know, didn't go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And there's also somebody in this world who there's somebody in this world who didn't go through what I go through, who what I went through, and vice versa. I had
Yeah.
no idea what they went through.
What they
Um,
dealing with? Or
exactly what they're dealing with, they're thinking about every day. I can ask questions. I can do my best to understand, but I was never
in
like
their spot?
I'm not in Otto's shoes, so I don't know what Otto goes through day to day. Again, I can ask questions. You can tell me, but
You
as
can
far as like
imagine.
exactly, but as far as actually knowing what
You
Otto goes,
can't
I
understand.
can't.
Yeah.
Um, but and I think as far as accepting that or trying to accept that, it's all about understanding, for me at least, that because there are people in this world who don't think the same way that you do, who aren't like you, the world keeps moving regardless, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Life keeps going.
I have to I think that's another thing that's helped me with acceptance is realizing like, okay, you know that you're not the same person as them. You don't have the same circumstances as you do. So when you wake up in the morning, you're not waking up to a full mansion, or you're not waking up to whatever the fuck that you dream of waking up to, or whatever the case is, or don't dream of, whatever the lack of a better way of putting it, or a different way of putting it. So what are you gonna do with what you have right now? You know, because at the end of the day, if you sit here and you think about what this person has or what this person doesn't have, the world's going to keep spinning.
Yeah.
The world's going to keep going, and then tomorrow you're gonna keep dreaming about the same exact thing. You're gonna keep talking about the same exact thing. Like, yeah, I don't have that, or I wish that I had that, or I wish I learned that. But you don't have that. You
Yeah.
have this.
So what you gotta do?
So exactly? So what are you gonna do about it? Um, so I think acceptance for me has been just realizing that I'm one, not the only thing or living creature on this earth, and two, or in this universe,
Yeah.
and two, that no matter what, even if it's like me sipping a fucking soda from a cup, it's making the world go by.
Yeah.
Like the world is still turning. Like we're still having this conversation. Like this is a part of the flow of life. The life just keeps going, and this is a part of it. Um, so accepting that like no matter what, the world has to keep going. That's also helped me with acceptance of a lot of things in this world. um and yeah,
Yeah.
this just good, bad, ugly, beautiful, shitty shit,
It's
beautiful
life.
shit, this life. That's the one thing that helps me kind of accept acceptance.
Yeah.
you know
Nice. What's You talked a lot about your sister, right?
hmm
Your younger sister.
that's my favorite person.
Um, what does she represent in your life?
That's my favorite fucking person. My sister is like my sister is my rock, I would say. I think, and I would like to think that I'm the same way for her. Um, we loved the same thing with my parents. We loved each other growing up, but we didn't have like a relationship growing up. Um, she even to this day she's considered the big older sister. because every like she was she was always the one who was unafraid to do shit. Like she was the
unapologetic.
unapologetic for shit. She was the brat. She was like, we made a lot of home videos, me and her, of me dancing, and she didn't give a fuck. She was in the camera. So this is us, and we're gonna do this. And she was like very just like attitude, and she was, but that wasn't me. That was never me. I was always smiley and very just like kind of like
trying to
shy, like
trying to get accepted, maybe.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
So, but she didn't give a fuck.
She didn't need to be accepted, probably.
She did not give a fuck, and I think that with her being like the younger sibling, I think that helps a lot with it too. Um, but yeah, she didn't give a fuck. So like I look at my sister as like as my rock. You know, I think that no matter what, I'm always going to be, because I think over time we've definitely both learned a lot of valuable things about ourselves, about our even our relationship now,
Yeah.
as siblings. And I know that for me, like I'm always gonna be there for my sister. Like my sister's like, if she calls me, if she's like calls me like upset about something, I'm always gonna listen. Um, Granted, Damani, I know I could do a better job at hitting you up because she lived by herself.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
but I know that both of us are always going to be there for each other. So like that's my she's also my favorite dancer of all time.
Okay.
My nobody I don't give a fuck when nobody says Deanna Matos who. I don't care. I do not care. My sister's my favorite dancer of all
Nice.
time. Yeah.
Tuck, I just have a little moment. Just I need to get the control remote
Go ahead.
because I have something for you. Okay.
Oh, I'm scared.
Okay, so we're back again. So I have this talking about your sister, right? She's your rock, your support, and you're also her support, right? And I can tell, I can tell that she always supports you. Also, it's vice versa,
Yeah.
right? I would like you to see this little thing that if you can read it out loud, it will be better. Wait, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Oh.
So she posted this on Twitter. You can see the date.
I can't see a date. When's the date? Oh shit. Oh, this is
You
when this is
read
when her
it. Read it so
this
the
is when
people
her
can
Instagram
actually.
was dancing D. She writes on Twitter. So this is my brother Darien, or DAAH or DAAH, and he's an amaze balls dancer whom I love and support always.
And
That's cute.
then she goes and says,
When was this? This was July 15th, 2016. Since he has no Twitter and I love to support him, this thread is for me to share his dance videos called Silk Series with my friends.
I don't know if you knew about this.
I don't know if I knew about this.
This is Twitter.
Nice.
She's always been there for you.
You be doing your research, my boy. I appreciate you, my boy.
So like that's that's a sister
Yeah, that's my sister.
since the like second number zero. And that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope to have this support system. Because you didn't have Twitter,
I did not, I guess. Apparently I didn't. I don't
right?
even remember when I got Twitter.
And then, well, this was extra, but just for you to take you back to what you used to do.
Holy shit. Do you know who that is?
Yeah,
That's Sean.
Insanity.
That's Sean fucking T.
I don't know his name, but Insanity.
So the cool thing about this is that that's Amy Connerly on the right of me. Like that was PD's first white girl.
Okay.
And shout out to Amy Connerly, miss you, shorty. But so the cool thing about this was that this was around the time where Project D had just figured out or like came across Sean T. Why am I Millie rocking on people now? Son, I'm wearing a bucket hat and a blue tank top and some what the fuck, bro? That was around the time where we had just came across insanity and we were using it because like we wanted to be like better dancers and shit like that.
Yeah, that shit is hard.
Bruh, oh my gosh. Imagine doing that like almost every fucking practice,
Yeah,
bro.
it's hard.
That shit was
I tried it with
crazy.
my sister.
Which one did you do?
I don't know because I didn't pay for it.
No, we didn't pay for it either.
I'm like third world countries, you know what I'm saying?
No, what I forgot. I think it was Jordan Baizon or
I don't know. I don't remember the day. Like the name. I just remember it was in a basketball court.
nice.
And it was like you can do like in 60 minutes, 60 days challenge or something like that. You can get results. I'm like, okay. I went there like for a week.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Getting to the almost the final part of the amazing conversation we're having. um, mental health, right? I always like to talk about mental health because I feel it's important.
I agree.
For someone that is actually watching and they feel alone, they don't feel accepted, they don't feel supported,
Mm-hmm.
right? And maybe they get inspired by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like this type of conversations because it allows us to know the person behind
Right.
whatever we see in social media and even in person. We don't know you like that in teaching or someone that you change the oil to or the kid or the teacher that you talk to, right? Have you have any mental health issues or experiences throughout your life?
Shit. Shit. Uh, so recently, um, uh, I would say probably like towards the end of last year, 2023, people would kind of like come up to me and be like, "Oh, how are you?" And I would give them this answer of like, "So me and depression are like really, really, really best friends, but I'm trying to like stray away from our relationship right now. Just trying to
Okay.
give us some space right now. But he's not letting me. He's kind of being very just like, nigga. Um, so for me, yes, I definitely like definitely like endure mental like struggles. Um, I suffer with depression. Um, I get anxious a lot. Um, so for me, depression kind of sometimes can look like being very fucking tired. Um,
With no reason.
no reason at all, just me being very fucking tired.
It's not the fact that you work 7 days a week.
That also. Um,
But you know the type of tired, it's
but
different.
yeah, it's not
It's a
like
different type of tired.
it's like don't get me wrong, like I think probably a part of me has gotten so used to working 7 days a week that like I'm good,
Yeah, stamina is
um
good during the week.
but even before that, like I would, and see, this is another part about working with like kids. They can truly expose some shit with inside of you, and a lot of like even for me, I work with a student of mine, and he's taught me a lot about this new generational music. Like, I you ever heard of Yeet?
Heat.
At Yeat. It's an
Right.
artist. I've never heard of this motherfucker, but his music's pretty alright. He's
Okay.
like a rap artist right
Maybe
now.
I've heard it, but I don't know his name.
Nah, he's it. I can't understand a lot of the shit he says sometimes, but so he one of the things I fuck with about him, my student, is that he's a goofball.
Okay.
Um, he's probably like classes have class clowns and shit like that. Like he's definitely like the class clown.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's always this part where everybody's kind of yelling at him, like the teachers at least, like, was that nest? Like, why are you yelling? Even myself, I found myself like yelling out, like, what the fuck? Why are you talking out loud in class and anything like that? And he's not taking our discipline
Any
seriously. Like he's still
being
being
a clown,
a clown. Like even when we're yelling at him, he's still being a clown. Like
he doesn't take anything
and
serious.
honestly, that's a lot of his class, by the way, too. Um, but I look at him and I'm just like, oh shit, he is me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in
Yeah,
some sort of
you
way.
can feel reflected.
Yeah, like I'm looking at him like, oh shit,
You're about to fucked up.
I think about like even now like some of the cause so the cool thing about the school that I work at, I graduated from that school. So there are some teachers there who
No,
still
you
work there who still know me, you know.
exactly.
So they look at him and they be like, you know, that's you. That's you. Like I yell at him, like I go off on him, but then they'd be like, you know, you was just like that when you was younger, right? And I was like, and sometimes I would deny, like, no, the fuck I wasn't. I wasn't like that. And then
Right,
I
you
think,
know, dude.
but then I think about it, and I'll go home. Sometimes on the drive home, I start thinking about it, and it'll
Damn.
just put me in this state where I'm just like, fuck. And so there are some times where I go home and I'm tired, probably from obviously yelling at kids all fucking day. But I get home and I don't want to do shit. I just want
Yeah.
to sit in bed, bro. Like, and I'll feel that like there are certain, not certain, but like there are days where like that one day, that one thing will happen. Like I'm tired from that day, and I just want to sit in that bed and like not do anything, like not leave my room. Like there are days where like I've not left my room. Like my dad, parents are coming to me like in my room, like,
You
why,
good?
like yeah, like why are your lights off? It's like I just want to sit here. Like, you know, I'm just um
Tired.
yeah, like but aside from that, like, you know, I do get anxious with a lot of shit. Like I was anxious last night. I couldn't sleep last night
Wow.
because of the audition that I had this morning. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like, and that's, I think that's a common anxiety with a lot of dancers. You know?
Yeah, but there's different layers to it
Yeah.
also.
So I'm, you know, there's also this part of me that was just anxious, and not even just anxious about the fact that I was auditioning, but I haven't had an audition in a while. You know, like no, like, and this is the thing about dancers, like like, and I think a lot of dancers know this too. Being a dancer is not a stable job. You know, like you can get one job that's gonna set you up for like you
6 months.
fire ass job, and then you don't get shit for like 4 months afterwards. In my case, like I haven't gotten any auditions or anything for a while now.
Hmm.
So it's not even just the fact that like, you know, this is an audition and I want to get this job. This is an audition post me not doing shit for a very long time. You know, so I'm in my head, I'm like, yo,
Overthinking.
yeah, like I'm like, okay, I need to pull up like this. I need to pull up like that.
Oh
I need to
shit.
pull up like, you know, I need to have this mentality. When in reality, like,
You just gotta relax.
yeah, like I got to the audition and I knew people, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then uh even even when I was there, I do feel like even after the audition today, like I was kind of in my head a lot because I was like, yo, like I didn't do as well as I should have. And
Yeah.
but then I was telling myself I wasn't doing as well as I should have because uh like I was anxious about it the day before. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like if I wasn't anxious, then I probably would have thought about things a little bit better. And if I
Yeah.
thought things better, then maybe I would have done this. And it's there's so in the subtle art of not giving a fuck, they actually, the book that I'm reading, they actually have a
Yeah.
term for it. I forgot the fuck it was called. Um, but it's just a never ending whirlwind of just thoughts, you know,
Yeah.
like, and I was that was happening like when I walked out the fucking studio today after the audition, I was quiet. Like, and there's no amount of music, there's no level of music, there's no level of like it's okay or compliments that can help that to get that away.
Okay.
It's gonna keep going.
Got
There's nothing that's going to kind of like this circle, this whirlwind is gonna keep going. You know, I'm gonna keep telling myself I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this. I should have done that.
But don't you think it's like kind of issue with accepting also?
Yes.
Meaning, I gotta accept that. Okay, I didn't sleep yesterday, but
Yes.
it is what it is.
Yes. And that was me soon after. But then that ultimately made me hella fucking tired. And then I ended up going to sleep for like 2.5 hours. Um, but you know, there's always just this never ending whirlwind of thoughts where it's just like you said, like I'm not accepting the fact that, you know what, I do work 7 days a week.
Right.
You know, I do work 7 days a week. I do, you know, I have to find the time to do this audition shit. Like I had to call out of work this morning, you know, like I had to call out the school job to come here, you know, like so like that can definitely add to like me being exhausted. But it could also add to the thought of like even now, like I'm 29 years old going on 30, and like I told you before, like I'm looking at friends who and peers who are more specifically peers who younger than me, a couple years younger than me, like accomplishing things that I tell myself that I wanted but I don't have right now. you know that can fuck with me. Like I'm going on 30 and I don't have a lot of the things that I wish that I had now.
Yeah.
Like um so yeah, like my mind is always going. I'm an overthinker, so my
All the
mind is always
time.
going.
Okay. You're an overthinker.
I am an overthinker.
Why do you think you overthink so much?
Um, well, you know, kind of going back to, being accepted, you know, I think as a dancer, a lot of times we want to be accepted, like um that plays a factor. Um and on top of that, like and it's interesting because oddly enough, not oddly enough, but I don't know. I think about a lot. I think about what a person like if I'm having a conversation with a person sometimes, um, my mind can go into like these different thoughts like, oh, is this person listening to me? Or is this person thinking this? What if this person thinking this? Sometimes like I might look at like body motion if I'm like in, like a like socially anxious dude, like what I'm saying, like, and sometimes like I think to myself like, why is this happening, or what's the reasoning for what he's doing, like what's the reasoning for what she's doing, like, um, are they gonna like if I do something like, oh fuck, um, are you gonna like me after this, like is what I'm doing for you satisfactory to like, and I think that comes with a lot of people pleasing too. Like I can definitely be labeled as a people pleaser.
Okay.
So I enjoy seeing joy on people's faces. I don't want to see the real shit. Like I told you
The
before, like
bubble.
that. Yeah, like that. That privileged life. So I think that can also play into being an overthinker because a part of me is like also wants to make sure that you're good.
Yeah.
Like are you okay? So if you're showing me that you're not okay, are you okay? If you are showing me that you're okay, I might just not believe you, and I might just think to myself like, no, you're not okay. Are you okay? Like so I'll ask myself so many different questions and think about so many different layers about certain shit.
Until what extent are you willing to sacrifice yourself to please someone?
Ooh, ooh. I'm trying to think of the craziest shit that I've ever done for somebody. I catch a grenade for you, yeah, yeah. Throw my head on the blade for you. I jump in front of the train for you. That's my shit.
You know I do everything for you. Ooh.
That's my shit.
And what's next? What he says?
If I would go through all
This
this
pain,
take a
but straight to my veins. Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you would do the same thing.
mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. It's a
Nah,
good song.
I mean, I, I might do that, but I don't know. As far as like pleasing somebody, um, I don't know like any specific things. I just know that if somebody that I know and care about isn't like okay, um, it depends on the situation,
Of course.
obviously, but I think that I would probably, I that's when I think that's when my kind of like, I guess for lack of a better way of putting it, survival mode kind of kicks in,
Yeah.
where it's just like, this person's not okay. I gotta make sure this person is okay. I gotta.
What the thing is, unless it's a very close person like your sister
Hmm.
and stuff, why do you have to take care or make sure this person is alright? Like, why do you take for granted that it's your responsibility to make that person feel better.
I think, damn, I think I think I know somewhere deep down it's not my responsibility. Like I know that I don't have to make you feel good or make you feel okay. I don't know, but there's this kind of natural innate sense of me just wanting to. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but I know that like I want to make you laugh. I want to make motherfuckers smile. I want to make sure that like you're okay, you know. And it's not like, and again there's this kind of, I guess for lack of a better word, addiction to it, where it's like, you know,
It's like a comedian whenever
yeah,
sees someone laugh.
it's a natural thing, you know, and I think for me too, you know, I just enjoy making people, like I said, I
So
just enjoy people
good.
making people feel good, you
So
know.
wouldn't you think that's actually like, I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a selfish um like action.
Oh yeah, it is very selfish.
Meaning, okay, so that's honestly talking, like that's the way I help.
Yeah.
And that's so meaning I can, for example, like I can help you with $20 so
Mhm.
you can complete your rent,
Mhm.
right? The thing is for me, I like I don't expect anything from you,
Yeah.
not even you pay me back.
Mhm.
Um because I did it for myself actually.
Yeah.
I did it for myself. I like to feel good, and I knowing back in the like in my mind, I know this is an action that a good person does.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it regardless you are grateful or not,
Yeah.
and then I'm not gonna show any type of like regret or frustration or something towards your person.
Yeah.
I just let you live because that
Yeah.
was for me, not for you.
That's always been like a big debate too. Like a lot of people believe that selflessness isn't a real thing. Like there's no such thing as being selfless. Like people think that anything that you do is gonna be a selfish act. Like you can, like even the idea of giving money to a person or somebody who's less, you know, less fortunate for lack of a better word than you. Um, you give them money, you know, your reasoning for giving them money was what, to help them out, you know. What does that necessarily do for you? You know, does it make you feel good that you're helping them out? Does it, you know, do you want to help them out because you know how it feels? You know, like I don't think that, I think that there are people that do things with all the love in their heart.
Yeah, of course.
But I still think that a
Deep.
lot of it can be selfish. You know, it can come from kind of a selfish way, like a selfish
Yeah,
perspective. You
but
know.
it has a positive
Oh, for
consequence,
sure,
so it's
for
like
sure, for
it
sure,
doesn't matter.
for
To
sure.
that point, in this case, when was your first approach with depression? Were you like, where was the first time you said like, oh shit, I think I have depression? Were you diagnosed? You just
Um, I went to therapy once, and the guy did a test on me, and he told me that's at least one
one, like you
indication.
mean one session or a therapy like?
Oh no, it wasn't just one session. We met for like a month or two, um, and over time, like we were just talking, and I was just letting him know what's going on with me, um, and then he kind of like did his diagnostic and told me how he felt. Um, but then I also kind of like did my own personal research on like depression a little bit, and that can fuck you up too, because like if you do your own research on
No,
shit that's going on
it's
with you,
bad. They say
you,
like, oh, I have a headache. You're gonna die tomorrow.
bruh. Oh my gosh. But I, like, as far as my own research, like, you know, I looked up, or I asked a lot of my, you know, close peers, you know, how they were dealing with their own mental issues and everything like that. Um, and I realized like a lot of it looked very similar to things that I was doing, you know, like, you know, and even just the sometimes of Jim Carrey kind of like he said it in an interview once. Um, I don't remember verbatim, but he said something along the lines of like depression is like you getting really tired of the character you're trying to portray. Or something
Yeah.
is like something like that, and that's a very close indication as to how like I can feel sometimes because every day as a dancer I have to go out into the world. Every day
Have a
person,
smile.
as a person,
Yeah.
I have to go out in the world. I have
Even with your
to,
kids,
especially with my kids, like they're expecting Mr. D, they're expecting Uncle D,
to
Uncle
be like a
Da, and you know
positive
what I'm
and
saying? Like,
help you out.
so, but there are days, and there are times where I'm honest with them. Sometimes I'm like, yo, look, I'm not really feeling like I don't want you to keep hitting my chest today, Lewis. Like, calm the fuck down. Yeah, yeah, um, but uh, like every day you go out into the world, and every day, you know, in order for you to kind of progress in life, there are these kind of like faces that you kind of have to put on, like
Yeah.
um
To
and
complete the job.
exactly, like, and that's a very shitty reality, but it's a reality,
Yeah.
like there are times where I tell them I don't want to do this thing, but I have to in order for me to do the thing that I really, really, really want to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Or even
Um,
just to pay the bill.
even just to do as simple as something as paying the bill. Exactly. Just to pay like the phone bill or whatever the case is. Like, in order for me to get this money, I gotta put this face on. I have to be this thing. I have to be this person, and that's tiring.
The
You
thing
know.
is, it gets more tired whenever it's not really you.
Yeah.
So meaning my point is, for example, I give my personal experience, right?
Mhm.
My case, it's I'm a social asocial person,
Mhm.
right? I can be very social.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm good dealing with people.
Mhm.
Like I'm good making you feel comfortable,
Yeah.
even though I'm not comfortable,
Yeah.
right? I'm good. I feel I'm very, in a certain way, I'm charismatic,
Mhm.
right? But the thing is, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm this guy. I am this guy.
Yeah.
But there's times during the day where I need to switch
Yeah.
and turn off.
Yeah.
So the bigger deal is whenever you're turning on someone who you really not. So meaning if you're not a charismatic person,
Mhm.
you're not someone that is actually happy of,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just an example of
Mhm.
being with kids that is gonna get more frustrated.
Yeah.
So in your case, I don't know what's your experience with that.
Oh, I love working with kids, but I will say that I think I'm at a point in my life where working with kids is something that I realize it's not for me in the future. Like,
Yeah,
as far as like working in the education realm, like public school system, like,
it's draining.
I definitely see teaching in my future. But as far as like every day, 5 days a week, working with kids, I don't see myself changing oil. That's a lie.
Yeah, because we gotta have a car and you
Yeah,
know how to change
I
oil,
was about to
but
say,
not like not doing it like
yeah,
three
exactly.
cars per hour.
Exactly. But so I but I know that while I am there, even though I know that I somewhere deep down it's something else is calling me and I shouldn't be here anymore. I know that while I am here, I know that while I am looking for that next thing, I owe these kids at least my energy. Like my and and I think that's something that I'm learning now is understanding what you're doing all of this shit for. Like even as simple or even as kind of condensed or contained as, I don't want to be in education no more, but I'm not going to show these kids like
That you don't want to be in.
no, because they get that shit already from their parents.
Yeah,
They
and
get
they don't
they
have any responsibility of whatever is happening in your
they
life.
they get that shit already from the outside world telling these kids you're bad, you shouldn't be doing this. They get that shit already. So I'm not going to add on to that. I'm going to be the one to show you some positivity, to show you some hope, to show you like I still fucks with you. You know, like you're annoying as shit, and you got some shit to work on. You're still young,
Yeah.
but I still fucking love you. You
Yeah.
know, but even with this dance shit, you know, like you know, understanding and not just dance, but like even working, you know, like understanding why I'm working, understanding what the main issue, not the issue, what the main goal for me is. Like I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for,
Or for
you know,
you, or
from, you know, of course, at the end of the day, like, and so this is what I feel makes a good, like, understanding that you have strengths and weaknesses as a person. So knowing that I am a dancer, that's my strength. So because I know that dancing is my strength, in order one way for me to make money is to dance. You know what I'm saying? Like one way for me to really provide for myself and give myself the life that I want is to dance. Why? Because I know that dance is a strength.
yeah,
Now I don't necessarily have to go in one avenue of dance. I know that I'm a good teacher. I
yeah,
know that I'm auditioning for Broadway. You know, I also know that, you know, uh, yeah, well, those are two just significant, but I can go on like commercial
different, yeah,
jobs. Yeah,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
layers.
but I know that those are three things of a major thing that I can do because I know that I can dance. That's my strength. Um, Same thing for, and that's something a little bit more specific. I know that, you know, I can also consider myself as kind of like charismatic and like I'm very social. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I can work in a sales position if that's like my I know that's my strength. I can work in a sales position
People.
if I wanted to because of people. That's why like I'm good with the oil changing business that I'm part of now. You know, because the company that we're a part of, we don't just do oil changes. We do other, you know, fluid
Other type of
services.
stuff.
You know, so and to be completely honest, we do our best to sell you some of the shit that you need, but at the same time,
Because you need it,
you do need it for your car. Exactly. You know what I'm
even to
saying?
prevent or
Exactly. And we're a maintenance service. So we, you know, so we help out with the maintenance of your car. So as far as like with people, like I know that like I know because of how I am, my strength is I can be charismatic and I can be very social. So I can possibly sell you more shit to your car,
yeah.
you know? Um, but I also feel like just understanding your strengths and weaknesses as a person is quality. Um, but yeah, there was a reason why I was saying this. I forgot.
Depression, and trying, like, being someone that you're not,
Yeah. So
and understanding why are you doing the things you're doing.
yes, yes. So it's good to have strengths and weaknesses. Um, Now understanding what you're doing this for, those strengths can come in very handy.
Yeah.
You know, like you know what I'm saying, like okay, you can work a job that you don't fucking like, that you don't know anything about, that you just want to get some money. Cool. You know what I'm saying? You can provide for yourself, but you know, it would, I think the process towards getting to where you would go would be um I wouldn't say meaningful. Meaningful is not the word. I think you would have a lot more if you repetition, having that one thing that you know that you're good at and continually trying to invest in that thing, you know, and understanding that okay, I do know that I want to give my mom a house. You
Yep.
know, I do know that I want to give my dad some money for, you know, his car. So I'm gonna stick to my strengths and go that way versus me just trying to get money. You know, because I think that at the end of the
Having a
day,
purpose.
yeah, having that purpose, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think having those strengths and weaknesses, understanding those can help.
Okay, nice. Just to finish the mental health part.
Hmm.
Um, have you ever had like any suicide thoughts, or not really like, doing or trying to do the thing?
I
It's
have,
just like, what if?
I have.
Okay, and what stops you from doing it?
Um, so for me, this question or this topic is like this is that gray area topic. Um, and the reason why I say that is because um, I have I don't know suicide like that. I don't know what it feels like to completely, like, physically harm yourself. You know, I don't know what people think or how people feel. I know secondhand, because I have loved ones who experience stuff like that. You know, I know of people who experience stuff like that. So I think for me, when it comes to the topic of, you know, like, yes, my depression and my anxiety have led me down some rabbit holes of thinking that I should not be here anymore, you know? Um, but I'm grateful to have parents that love me. I'm grateful to have dance. I'm grateful to have so many things that a lot of people don't have, you know? So even though, like, I do go down that rabbit hole at times, there has been moments where I've gone down that rabbit hole. I know that there are people who go down that rabbit hole,
And then
and
don't go back.
I've gone down that rabbit hole, and then I've had branches and vines to help me kind of get back out of that. There are people who go down that rabbit hole and don't have shit.
And also, they don't have a support system.
They don't have shit, you know. So it's like, um, I don't know. For me, I can't speak on behalf of anybody but my own self when it comes to
Exactly.
stuff like this.
Talking about
Um,
your personal experience.
um, I just know that for me, I just know that every day is a fight.
Yeah.
Every single day is a fight, and even though it doesn't necessarily stop the rabbit holes, and it doesn't stop the ideas from coming up, um, it helps me accept the shit. It helps me come to terms with the fact that, okay, I know that tomorrow is going to come with its own set of problems. That's okay. It's not like it's. I know that one of my favorite songs that my sister actually put me on to is called "I'm Alive" by Richard Tolbert. She
Okay.
did a piece to it a while ago, and the chorus goes, "I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive." uh, and this is not an accident. I'm alive because there's more. Um, so, like, think that I think that everybody on this earth has a purpose to fulfill. I don't know what that is. I have no idea if you were here to just show one person love and that was it, and then God needed you to come back home, you know. But all I know is that, yeah, yeah. Um, just every day is a
It's
fight.
a fight.
Every day is a fight.
You think, is it ever going to go away?
No, it's not something that's like can be eradicated. I don't think. Like I even think the strongest of people, the ones who are probably even the most seemingly mentally tough, has those days where they're thinking to themselves like, nah, not as far as, you know, harming themselves.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they are, but either way, I think that
Even just like thinking about doing it, it's a
it's
lot.
real. It's real. You know.
It's a lot.
Um, so I don't think it's something that can be eradicated. I don't think it's but I also don't think it's like a disease of some sort. I don't think it's something that should have a cure to it. I think at the end of the day, these are things that make us human.
Okay.
Like having these thoughts at the end of the day, like yeah, like no one wants to think to them. I don't I truly believe that anybody I don't think anybody enjoys pain for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I do.
I get it. I get.
I enjoy a little pain here and
You
there,
know what
but
I'm
I'm sorry.
saying?
Um,
Just to, you know.
but I don't. It's like drinking alcohol.
Mhm.
Granted, there are some drinks that probably don't taste like alcohol per se, right? But that's not the purpose of drinking it because it tastes good. You drink it because you
Because
want to
of the
feel
effect.
something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like smokers smoke because they want to get high. Um, so
The ends justify the means.
um,
Oh, the means justify the end.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, nice. We're getting into the last part of the conversation.
Last part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's basically a Q and A. So it's
Ooh.
um you know basically brief questions which they don't require or they is not limited to short answers.
Okay.
So meaning I can ask you questions and you can answer in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Um what role have your emotions played in shaping your decisions and choices throughout your journey?
Repeat that one more time.
What role have your emotions played in shaping your decisions and choices throughout your journey?
Um, a lot actually. Um, so a lot of my decisions, and I was actually thinking about this today. A lot of my decisions were based off of sort of like performative exterior talent sort of ordeal. Like uh, seemingly, if you were okay, then you were okay. I didn't give a fuck about anything else besides like if you were okay.
Okay.
Kind of ordeal. Like so that led me to not take things seriously because it aided in that thought of not taking things seriously because you know all I looked at was the exterior, the positive, nothing beneath that because in order for you to get to that positive place, there needed to be some negative shit that happened. So I never took any of that shit seriously. Um, and I think that I believe that if I would have took a lot of things seriously like earlier, please, what?
Unstoppable.
I'm unstoppable now. But if I would have taken myself seriously, like when I that in 2015 when I told my dad like, hey, I'm not doing school no more, I would fuck everybody up. But honestly, I didn't. You know, I did. I had moments. And admittedly, those moments, you know, I put a lot of heart and soul into these moments. Um, but yeah, I never took my like entire like career like experience like seriously. My life at least as seriously as I would like for it to be.
Okay. Um.
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah. Of course.
Mm.
Yeah. Very complete answer. Are you afraid of death?
Yes and no, which I guess is kind of like a yes, but um, yes because again, I think yes because at least if I die, I want to die just quick, just do it quick. Um, but no because I know that if I'm ever on the brink of death, I know that this is what God needs from me right now. Like um like not I just know that whatever life that I lived on this earth, I did what I could, you know. And even though that there are things that I still want to do, that's amazing. But maybe it's time for the person after me or the people after me to kind of do that thing. So like I'm afraid because of the pain factor. Uh, that's if it will be painful, but um I'm not afraid because at the end of the day I know that like I made people happy while I was here, and I think that that makes me happy. Yeah, it does make me
Nice. Well, what role does religion have in your life?
happy. It's funny because I've been talking to my dad recently about like getting closer to God recently. Um, but I'm a very spiritual person. Um, I don't believe in um, a lot of things about the church. But as far as like believing in Jesus Christ and believing in God, I believe in them. I believe in what they've done in my life. I believe in what they do in others. Um, and I do believe that there is somebody somewhere looking at us, like kind of like holding their fists whenever we do something stupid, or like tears of joy whenever we're doing something that's great. Like I think that there's somebody somewhere doing that. Um, so yeah,
What is faith for you?
faith is vision, and vision is believing in the thing that nobody else can see. That's what I think. Like um, I think faith for me is, yeah, just believing in that thing that nobody else can really see. Like I can't explain to you what my faith is. I can't explain to you why I put my faith in this. I can't explain to you, the reason why I feel faithful about this. But I'm here, and
It's a
gonna
feeling.
I'm gonna keep doing this because there's that hope. There's I believe in this thing. I see something that you don't.
Yeah.
So my dad sings this song. We sing this song in church. Um, Power in his hands, and one of my favorite lines, it goes, God gave me a song that the angels cannot see. That's one of my favorite lines, and I think it still holds true. Like that's what faith is. Like God gave me this thing that not even the angels can see. Like he instilled inside of me this purpose, this thing to on this earth that I look. I gave this to you. Even Gabriel, my homeboys up here, they can't see this shit. You can see this. This is meant for you and me. That's not meant for them.
It's personal.
Exactly. So that's what I think faith is. That's what faith means to
Okay, nice. What is something that puts a smile into your face?
me. Comedy, well, obviously. Um, but seeing the kids that I teach happy, that's something that puts a smile on my face. Also, dancing puts a smile on my face.
In a good movie.
And a good movie, yes, a good movie.
Okay. What are the values that are more important for you? Um, like, what values are most important to you, and how they guide your decisions?
Um, One, I have a three. Are you sure limit? This is a very basic kind of value. A three. Are you sure limit?
Okay.
So if I ask you, hey, do you want to go somewhere, and you say, yeah, I'm gonna ask you, are you sure? You say, yeah. I'm gonna ask you, are you sure again? I'm gonna ask you a sure third time. If by the third time you say yes or no, it's whatever that third time is, and there's nothing else after that. So if you say yes, okay, we're doing it. If you say no, we're not doing it. That's one thing. Uh, and just you know, knowing that at the end of the day, I can't be anybody else but myself. I think that's something that I very much hold true to myself. Like even in battle sense, like I can't be anybody else. I can't move or lab like anybody else. I can't do anything like anybody else but myself.
Yeah.
I think that's like the value that I hold true to this day. Like nobody can ever tell me shit about who I am. So
Nice. What's a fear you confronted or overcome, and how did your experience shape your mindset?
shit. Um, looking at money,
Okay.
I was scared of multiple zeros. It scared the fuck out of me for some reason. Like it just knowing that there's that much money in this world. I think one of my biggest fears was that the fact that there's so much money in this world and it's so easy to spend that shit. You know,
Bro,
like I can like every paycheck I get, I'm looking at it as like I already know like
it's
two
got,
pair of sneakers I want with this money right now.
bro, it's so easy to get rid of it.
Bruh. So I think that was like my main fear, like looking at money, and I'm overcoming it now, um, by keeping an eye on my financial habits.
Yeah.
So looking at the things that I'm doing and paying for and spending money on, and looking at them like, ah, okay. Also asking for help with finances,
It was
still very
important.
very hard, because my pride just sometimes don't let me. But
Damn.
um, yeah,
That's a
no,
tough one. That's a tough one.
money is always like a like topic to talk about, especially like when you're like in a relationship, bro.
That's why I don't have a relationship.
Bro, bro.
Okay. Um, what qualities do you value most in the people you choose to spend time with?
Hmm. You have to care. That's one.
Okay.
I've experienced people who don't give a fuck. Like, um, but I need you to care because I care a lot.
Okay.
So, um, and I mean that in however that means for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like I just need you to care about something or someone. You know, um, that's one. Two, I need I need as far as values go, you have to be I need you to be like a quality person. When I say quality person, I'm not asking you to be like this perfect person who's all over, all around, just amazing in everything that they do. Um, but it kind of goes back into the quality aspect, or not the quality, the caring aspect. And I think that's why more specifically said the word care, because I think that what I've learned over the years, especially like relational wise, um, people are going to care. People care about what they care about.
Yeah.
I think so. Um, so
What is important for them?
yeah, so I think that, and I say this because I was also the one who said that he cared but didn't show that he cared. So
Yeah.
like, um, so I'm big on care. I need you to care. I need you to care about how I'm feeling. I need you to care about how you're feeling. I need you to care about what you're doing for yourself. I need you to care about what I'm doing for me.
Basically, be like mature and
Yeah, like I need you because there have been like people who just like I don't give a fuck what you do. Like no, I want you to give a fuck about what I'm doing. You know,
if you're
like
gonna be around me, of
yeah,
course.
exactly. Like if I want you around me, I want you to give a fuck about what I'm doing because I can only see me, but so many times the only thing that I can see is myself in the mirror. You
Yeah.
know, I can't really see what I'm doing or saying
Or
on the
yeah, how
outside
am I
perspective.
acting? Or
So I need you to care about what I'm doing. You know, so care is like that's like my main thing.
nice. What's the worst advice someone has given you?
The worst advice?
Yeah, the worst advice that you remember.
I can't remember what the worst advice was, but I do remember what I thought was the worst advice initially.
Okay, okay.
It was at Elements 2000. I don't even fucking remember, but Melvin Tim Tim. Shout out to Melvin Tim Tim. I don't know him
Wow.
like that, but fire ass dancer. I've been looking at him since he was younger, but since he had the rat tail. Oh my
I was
gosh.
obsessed with him.
Uh, he taught a workshop at. He judged at Elements. He taught a workshop at Elements, and I remember he stopped the class, and he was like, he was talking to us, and he said something along the lines of, um, he says if you you can't be a you can't what do you say? If you're not confident, you can't be a dancer.
Shit.
And I remember sitting in that class, and I was like, Melvin, that's a little that's a little crazy. That's a little harsh. Because I was like, that's you shouldn't be saying this in class. But then as he's talking, and then as I'm like kind of thinking about it, I'm like, I get it, like, you know, and it's something kind of goes along with something I tell like my kids, Define Movement, even on Project D. If you want to be a dancer, be a dancer. That's as simple as that. Like, and I don't mean you have to book all these jobs or do this crazy thing overnight. Like, I'm not expecting you to be Denzel Chisholm or all these dancers that we look up to.
Yeah.
But if you say that you're going to be a dancer, you have to be. And shout out to Alice Wu, one of my favorite quotes of all time. If not confidence, then courage. If not, is that what it is?
It makes sense.
Yeah. If not confidence, courage. You know, um, you have to at least be courageous enough to
Yeah.
do this thing.
Yeah.
Um, and as I'm like unraveling what Melvin Simpson said again, initially I was just like, Tim Melvin, don't say that again. But then I was like, you know what? I get it. I understand. You know,
Okay. What's the best advice?
best advice, if not confidence, courage.
Okay. Okay. Um, give me a second. Okay. How you picture yourself from this moment in 10 years?
In 10 years,
Yes.
let's see, I'm 29. I'll be 39 in 10 years. I see myself, if not as a professor in a school teaching music movement, I see myself having like my own music program, um, or like my own like dance program. Not
Okay.
necessarily not it's so I have this music movement program where I kind of combine music theory and dance together.
Okay.
Um, and I created a whole curriculum over like the pandemic that I haven't really shared too much about. Like I've been teaching it in like pieces. Um, but in 10 years, I see myself as not being a professor at a college teaching music movement, or at some school teaching music movement, or having my own program, if not both.
Nice. Give me a second. Water.
No, take your time. Take your time. I'm just gonna sip on my water too.
Okay. For the last part of this amazing conversation,
Bang bang.
I've been having a great time. I don't know you, but
I'm enjoying myself.
nice. We always have little gifts for our guests.
Oh shit.
Um, I believe that I said it before, but it's not what you give; it's what it signifies,
Okay.
right? In this case, we have two or three last questions
Okay.
with this gift. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So we talked about a lot of things. Yep.
Okay.
But we talked about your journey.
Okay.
Yep. Why you're a dancer, why you started dancing. Yeah. Um all your acceptance journey with
Mm-hmm.
people, and how that affected your younger self, and also your adult is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. You
Adult
said it right.
self,
Mm-hmm.
your support system, religion,
Mm-hmm.
dance and work and stuff, but more importantly, your journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I feel it's very important to know the person behind what we see, because
Mm-hmm.
now I have a better perspective of, oh, the
Yeah.
Darien, that's okay. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and also makes me, and I hope the persons that are watching this, that it makes them respect you more and admire you more. Not because you like like you think you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because it's been hard.
Yeah.
It's been hard,
Yeah.
and usually as an artist, we just show the best part,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't see all the background
Right.
that it goes on and off. Okay,
Right.
in this case, I would like to give something for you that it's every time you have a problem accepting who you are. I would love you to go back uh, to this little gift and remember why you are the person that you are, like you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like anytime you doubt yourself of not doing something or not being able to talk to someone or do a certain job, even with your kids, and a
Mm-hmm.
low day, uh, I would like to give you this.
Fuck you.
um, in this case, we have your happy self, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is what we see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Your goofy self.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Your support system.
Who is that?
Your family.
Who's hugging me right now? Am I in the red shirt? Wait, let me see.
I'm gonna give it to you. Give me a second.
Okay.
And then, just for you to know, I already knew you work in a cinema. So here's your working self.
Oh my where the fuck did you that's a old ass picture.
So, and but most importantly, your faith or religion stage.
Okay.
So I would love to that every time you have a hard time or you have very difficult thoughts,
Uh-huh.
I would love you to go back and just, you know, um, think why you do the things you do.
I appreciate that, bro.
This is for you. You can have it at home. Um, this is also a wallet version.
Oh,
So you can
nice.
put in your car, wallet, phone, whatever you want.
That's crazy, bro. Am I sticking my middle finger up in that picture? I am.
Okay, and just to finish, I have a second gift.
Ah,
Um, you're a people pleaser,
I can be.
okay, but there's a person that after this conversation, I really feel that really needs to be pleased or
Okay.
really needs your help.
Okay.
In his case, it's yourself.
Okay. Yo, where the fuck are you finding these pictures, bro?
Yourself, right?
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
this is um, I believe is your true self,
Okay.
which it's the younger picture that I could possibly find.
Okay.
And you can see he's smiling, but it's a like kind of a nervous smile.
I don't even remember when that fucking picture was
Um,
taken.
so that means like
I'm wearing a
probably
Mook shirt. Oh my gosh. What the fuck? Yo!
the same thing I always like to say to our guests. You can let everyone down, right? But whenever you have a tough time, just really try not to let this young man here down, right? Remember, he had a lot of dreams, a lot of confidence, but also a lot of doubts. So
Yes, the fuck he did.
you just go back and instead of pleasing other people, start pleasing yourself. Because this guy needs you more than anyone else.
I'm sorry.
Like good.
You said you started saying start pleasing yourself, and I looked at the camera.
It's gotta be on the edit. Don't worry. This is for you.
Oh my gosh.
Now, just to finish the podcast. If you can just watch the younger self and answer the last two questions.
Okay. You really trying you
What would you say to your younger self? Or if you have the possibility to talk to your younger self, what would that younger self would like to hear?
Who's the mustache? That's one. Look like El DeBarge. um, there's nothing in this world that you can't learn, do, see, experience, but it always starts with you. You kind of have to want that. Yeah, that's what I would say to my younger self.
Nice. Tweaking a little bit the question. Let's say you have the possibility to talk to Darien of 90 years old.
90 years old?
Yeah.
That's an old ass
Um, what would you today would like to hear from him?
motherfucker. I don't know. 90 years old telling me what I want to hear from him.
What would you ask?
Did we do it? Or very curious about who I'm gonna marry. That's always like that's always been like a curiosity of mine. I don't know. I'd probably ask him if we married the girl that I hope we marry. Uh, how many students and teachers did we develop? Because I would want to like I feel like I would have some sort of recollection of that like at 90, like at least some sort of recollection. I don't know. If I was 9, so the question is, if I was 90, what would I tell like myself now
Yeah. No, yeah, like what you would like to hear.
from my 90-year-old self?
Yeah.
Don't stop. Yeah, don't stop.
Don't stop.
Just keep
Last
going.
question to end up the podcast.
Let's get it.
How would you like to be remembered?
You know, I think about this a lot. I don't. I tell myself I want to be remembered as somebody who made somebody feel good. I tell myself I want to be remembered as somebody who made people smile and made people laugh. I want to be remembered as somebody who loved. I want to be remembered as somebody who, was always themselves. But sometimes I think to myself, at some point, you know, the memories of people that we know and love will always be there, you know. But it's hard to kind of, I don't know. I would say my mind is. I would say I would want to be remembered as somebody who loved, loved hard, loved unorthodoxly. I don't know if that's a word, but who somebody who loved differently. Somebody who's I want to be remembered as the color orange. And the reason why, and for a long time, the color orange is my favorite color. And the reason why is because it was so fucking different. Everybody always talked about orange. Orange is like the stepchild or the middle child of all the other colors. Because you can match the other colors with something. You can match orange with shit, but you can't rhyme nothing with orange. Like one word doesn't rhyme with orange except for orange. Like the color is just like the way it's spelled, it's multiple letters and it's just weird. It's also a fruit. Like apple is not called red. There's a red apple, but orange is called orange is always just the weird ass fucking word.
Yeah.
Um so I want to be remembered as the color orange. The one that was just as fucking bright and just as colorful as all the other ones, but still fucking weird as shit. That's how I want to be remembered.
Nice. Darien, thank you so much for taking the time of coming to this podcast. I highly appreciate your time. I had a great time in this conversation.
As did I.
I appreciate that. I don't know, before we leave, if you want to say something, or if I didn't ask a question that you would like to be asked, um, this is the time to say it.
All right. I ain't gonna say too much because it's 1:30 in the morning and I have work at 8 a.m. But thank you for allowing a space for artists like myself to just kind of like talk. Also, every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. in Queens at Bodega, I teach. Come through if you like. I'm a really great teacher. My pieces are fire.
Thank you so much. And if you did it to the end of the conversation, highly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you actually take something home to your for your heart or your soul of this story. Hope you like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Soul Rojo.
So,
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 so. Woo! Let me just. Man.